team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Tigers reclaim their crown by crushing Alabama.
Brady under center, victory formation, takes the snap, falls to a knee, and that'll do it. The New England Patriots have won.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We, the North, are now we, the champions, the Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to me, taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some
good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday to you. Happy Hump Day. It's our annual trek to the Crowne Plaza East Hotel as we bring Middays to you live on location today at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon. Welcome in, everyone. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy on location. Austin Eldridge back in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's the Wednesday, October 16th, 2019 edition of the program. Sports 56 Middays, delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Streamline your e-commerce business so you can focus on growing sales and strengthening customer relationships. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. This is the 18th annual AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game. It'll be held on Saturday, December 14th. The coaches will be Gene Robinson. For the Red, he will represent Fairleigh High School, and Preston Harris will coach up the blue team. He is the coach at Douglas High School. We will hear from both coaches later on this morning when the folks file in here for lunch at the Crowne Plaza East Hotel. But we have a very busy show alongside all of that. Joe Theismann will join us at 10:30, the Super Bowl champion quarterback who's not only going to talk NFL with us, but I'm sure he's going to gloat about his Washington Nationals, who took care of the Cardinals and are representing the National League in the World Series. Jerry Palm will join us at 11 to talk college football. And at 12 o'clock, Sigmund Bloom will answer all your fantasy football questions. You can do that via the phone, via text, all kinds of different ways to send in your questions for Sigmund Bloom. There will not be dinner and a movie this week because we are on location and pretty busy with the high school all-star game coaches, so we will bring that back to you next Wednesday. But nevertheless, very busy day. We'll talk about the Major League Baseball postseason. We'll talk about some baseball news, including Joe Madden's next destination, and some NFL news, including a decision made by the Tennessee Titans with their quarterback. But, Eli, we've been here a number of years now. It's always a nice event that coincides with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game, and that, of course, is this all-star high school game.
That's right. One of the great events that they do each and every year, and gives some high school kids around the area kind of a last chance maybe to get noticed by some recruiters, or just a last chance to get out on the field, and also a chance to make some friendships with guys they may not otherwise get a chance to meet. And they spend a week basically with them on a team together. So a great event, and always great to get an opportunity to talk to the coaches. Some history this year because Gene Robinson becomes the first person to ever coach in this game after having played in the game. So he played in it back in 2008 when he was a senior at Whitehaven before he went on to North Carolina. Now he is the coach in this game. So he becomes the first to play and coach in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Game.
Yeah, Gene, a former North Carolina standout after playing high school ball here in Memphis. Tonight kicks off week number 8 of the college football season, as we'll have South Alabama at Troy this evening. Then there are several games tomorrow, and then a number of games on Friday night. Interesting, Friday night includes Ohio State at Northwestern and Pitt at Syracuse in the ACC. So some of the bigger name or known commodities will play some football during the work week, and then we'll have a very busy Saturday. Of course, the Tigers will be in action against the Tulane Green Wave, looking to bounce back from their loss to Temple. Tomorrow we'll have the Tiger Football Report and be joined by head coach Mike Norvell. But speaking of college football, and this not only is a story about fandom, but it's also a story about gambling. And we know with sports, it goes hand in hand. A University of Alabama freshman is accused of calling in a bomb threat at LSU's Tiger Stadium during the LSU-Florida game Saturday night. Connor Bruce Kroll, 19, of Crozet, Virginia, was arrested and jailed Sunday as a fugitive from justice. He faces unspecified charges in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. According to a police affidavit obtained by WBRZ in Baton Rouge, Kroll told police that he called in a bomb threat during the Tigers' 42-28 win because a friend was on the verge of losing a large bet. How about that? That's taking it to an extreme, huh? What a friend. Trying to do something for his buddy. He's about to lose a lot of money. He calls it a bomb threat. Not the most intelligent person in the world, but at least that friendship, that bond together.
I wonder in his mind what the level of bet is that is bomb threat. Like if it's where you cross bomb threat threshold. Like
that's a good question.
You know, where if your friend's about to lose $5,000, is that okay? But does $6,000 become bomb threat, or is it $10,000? Where I just like to know where his line is that makes a bet bomb threat worthy.
Let me think. High school kid that now is in college as a freshman. He's out of state, so unless he's getting some type of scholarship, the family is paying out-of-state tuition. Maybe comes from a little bit of money. I don't know. I'm just kind of piecing this together as Columbo or Barnaby Jones or somebody would do, going old school here with the detectives. I would think that that threshold should be infinity. You should never do what this guy did, but I'm thinking this guy made a bet of about $5,000 or more. And this kid, this very intelligent young man figured out, boy, I'm going to come to the rescue of my friend and call it a bomb threat. How anybody thinks they're getting away with that is beyond me. Anyway, we'll see what happens to this kid. It did not affect, I don't know, it doesn't say in the story which side the bet was the issue with, because they ended up covering. Remember, LSU covered over Florida. The line, well, it depends how many points you got, but we were using 13.5, and for our entertainment-only purposes on Thursday during the Pick 6, if you took LSU, you got the cover because they won by 14. But in reality, I don't know what the number was that this kid got. And I'm going to guess it was probably from a bookie. Probably wasn't some legal gambling shop he went to or a great book like the new Moneyline book down at the Gold Strike. I don't know. I don't have all the details about this kid. But anyway, that is taking it
I'm gonna guess that alcohol was involved.
You think so? You think so? There always is that possibility. Congratulations to Kenneth Gainwell, University of Memphis running back, who has been absolutely sensational. He has made the Associated Press's mid-season All-American second team at running back. He is second in the nation in all-purpose yards and second in the nation in all-purpose yards per game. Here's a guy who was penciled in as the two-back, the number 2 on the depth chart behind Patrick Taylor, but since Taylor's injury, he has really stepped up. He's gone over 100 yards, 4 straight games, one of those games going for a freshman record for the University of Memphis at 209 yards. So congrats to Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, that's it's what Memphis has become known for. They just produce All-Americans at the skill position.
From the NFL, Ryan Tannehill has been named by Mike Vrabel as the starting quarterback for the Titans. They will play the Los Angeles Chargers this weekend. Marcus Mariota was benched last week and replaced by Tannehill in a 16-0 loss. And now they will try to find some offense from the former Miami Dolphin quarterback.
That was rather obvious that this move is going to be made because on Monday when asked, Mike Vrabel was not ready to commit. And usually if you're not ready to commit to your old starting quarterback on Monday, that means you're going to announce later in the week that you're changing quarterbacks. Because if you're staying with the starter, it's usually really easy to just say, oh, no, Marcus Mariota is our starting quarterback.
Right.
Anytime they say, we're going to make that decision here, as he said, I'm going to make that decision tonight, between tonight and tomorrow morning, that decision is always going to be a change.
Another thing that was pretty inevitable was the Jaguars were going to eventually trade Jalen Ramsey, and it happened yesterday. He has been dealt, according to reports, to the Los Angeles Rams for number 1 first-round picks in 2020, 2021, and a 4th-round pick in 2021.
Yeah, that's a good haul for them. Get rid of a disgruntled guy, get 2 first-round picks out of it. Rams were reshuffling the secondary yesterday with Aqib Talib going on IR, and then they shipped out Marcus Peters to Baltimore, bringing in Jalen Ramsey. So the Rams, who are obviously in win-now mode, having gone to the Super Bowl last year, I don't think it really addresses their biggest issues, but they get a heck of a player. But they also pay a hefty price to do it. They don't have a first-round draft pick till like 2025 or something like that now. Wow.
Well, again, trying to win now and not worried about mortgaging the future to try to come through in the present. Got a little basketball news as well. According to Jason Munz, I have not seen a story yet on it, but Memphis Tigers freshman James Wiseman earns preseason All-America honors. I'm not sure which team as soon as we get that information, but that is according to Jason Munz. So not surprised there with that honor for James Wiseman even before they tip off the season. Also from a recruiting tidbit for you, Memphis in today to see top 10 forward Greg Brown, who is part of USA Basketball and a stud coming out of high school. Somebody's going to get a really good player. He's looking at North Carolina, Auburn, Texas, Kentucky, and the aforementioned Memphis Tigers. And again, Memphis with a home visit today, according to Corey Evans, with Greg Brown. All right, Major League Baseball playoffs. Yesterday, the American League Championship Series resumed. Tonight, Game 4 is scheduled in New York, but it does not appear that game is going to go off because of the weather.
Yeah, there are some weather issues, which is not surprising. That happens in New York this time of year. A lot of other places as well. But not looking real promising. We'll have to see what they end up deciding to do. Certainly what they don't want to do is end up starting a game, get like an inning in, then get it rained out. So we'll wait and see what they do, wait and see what the weather does there. But I would guess there's a pretty good chance they'll not be playing baseball.
And that means Game 4 would be tomorrow between the Yankees and Houston. The Astros have grabbed a 2-1 series lead after winning last night 4-1, or yesterday afternoon, if you will. Garrett Cole was sharp, not as sharp as he usually is, but still he gave up no runs and 4 hits. 7 strikeouts for Garrett Cole, so that streak of double-digit strikeouts is done. But Josh Reddick, I think in his first start in the NLCS, hit a home run. Jose Altuve hit a home run. The Astros are loaded and now grab a 2-1 lead, so now it's pressure on the Yankees whenever they play that 4th game to even that series up.
Garrett Cole, again, has not lost a game since May 22nd. We're in October. It's October 16th.
Isn't that nuts?
May 22nd. He's approaching 5 months without losing a decision.
That's just crazy.
It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Pitching in the American League, there's pretty good teams in the American League. Now, he's on one of them, but my goodness, that's some astonishing stuff. And he's on a roll right now. Nobody ever scores against him. It's just impossible to score against him. He is going to be a rich man. If you're ever going to go on a 5-month streak without losing a game, do it in your contract year when you're about to hit free agency. That is a great time to go on a 5-month streak without losing a game. It's going to be difficult for anybody facing him. That's for sure.
Speaking of losing a game, the St. Louis Cardinals lost all 4 in the National League Championship Series as they are swept out of town by the Washington Nationals, who will go to the World Series for the first time, they said, in franchise history. But the Washington Senators went to the World Series, I believe, in 1933.
Yes, it's the first World Series of D.C. since 33, but the first they become the next to last franchise to actually make a World Series. Now the Seattle Mariners sit all alone with that distinction of franchises that have never made a World Series in their history.
Last night it was a little deja vu for the Cardinals. As you recall, the 10-run first inning they had against the Atlanta Braves in Game 5 and went on to win that series 3-2. Well, last night they sat there and played like Keystone Cops out there in the field. As the Nats put together 7 spot in the first. Game over. You give the Cards a little bit of credit. They finally found some bats. Yadi Molina went yard, and Martinez, who was probably the one guy who actually hit the ball in the series for the Cardinals, had I think it was a 2-run double, and they made it interesting, but the Nats hold on and win it 7-4. Patrick Corbin was terrific. He struck out 12. The Nats pitchers combined for 14 Ks in Game 3. So that's 30 strikeouts in Games 3 and 4 for the Nationals at Nats Park, and they win this series again 4-love. A very disappointing effort by the Cardinals in the NLCS, to say the least. Looking up about it.
Too much joy in that first inning last night.
What did you do specifically? Were you,
I was
dancing around your house.
He was reveling in our misery.
I was
reveling in it.
I think that is a good term, Austin. I don't even know how to revel, but I believe I was reveling. If you just told me to revel right now, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what defines reveling.
Right.
But I do feel like I might have been reveling last night during that first inning.
Did you bet against them? That would have been more enjoyable for you. You would have gone beyond reveling.
It's really hard to get more enjoyable than what this series was and what the first inning was last night.
Well,
I got to be honest with you. That first inning was quite enjoyable last night.
But to make money on top of all that would have been nice. But who would have thought that would have been just an absolute massacre, if you will, in this series, because you had Anibal Sanchez, and set the tone. Now this team, after celebrating last night and probably going through some hangovers this morning, will get the rest, and then will get their rotation the way they do for the World Series. I still believe the Astros, the Yankees, and they're going to win it all. If not, the Yankees would be the favorite over the Nationals. But when you can set your rotation now to go whichever way you want to go Scherzer Game 1, or you want to go Strasburg in Game 1, and then boom, you still have Corbin and Sanchez, and that's a pretty darn good rotation. The pitching matchups, if it's Houston against the Nationals, and the Yankees are okay. I understand Masahiro Tanaka, they got a few guys who can throw the ball, but the Astros, when you're looking at Verlander and Garrett Cole, and even Greinke, who has struggled, combined with those Nats pitchers, that's a bunch of Hall of Famers. Possible Hall of Famers or probable Hall of Famers in the case of Verlander.
I mean, the Nationals they've been amazing since basically May. I mean, they were 19-31, and now they're in the World Series at 19-31. You don't know where that's headed, but I'm guaranteeing none of them thought it was headed to the World Series at that time. But the Cardinals, Paul Goldschmidt had struck out 7 straight at bats over games 3 and 4. Paul Goldschmidt is one of the fantastic hitters in baseball. Struck out 7 straight at bats. I mean, last night at the one point there, you had Goldschmidt and Ozuna a combined 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts. If your 3-4 hitters are 0 for 6 with 6 strikeouts in a game, probably not having a whole lot of success.
No,
it's hard to score some runs if your 3-4 hitters are literally not even making contact with the ball.
Look, you're toast. And Mike Schild, who you give him credit for the year he had as the skipper of the Cardinals, he made some questionable moves, but he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't, because he had to play Martinez because of his bat, and he's in right field, and there was the botched play on the pop-up that fell between Goldschmidt, Colton Wong, and Martinez. Then there was the ball that, who was it? Edman? Didn't handle at third base?
No, Edman made a great play.
No, later in the game, but in the first inning. I'm sorry.
Colton Wong didn't catch his throw.
That's what it was.
Fantastic play, and Colton Wong just didn't catch his throw.
That's what it was. The throw over to second base, and Wong, it was right there, and Wong dropped. I mean, it was just one of those deals where you're watching it going, what can go wrong is going wrong for the St. Louis Cardinals. They looked like Chico's bail bonds was their sponsor. They looked like the Bad News Bears out there.
When the ball in right field dropped, probably my greatest moment of reveling.
Wow.
There was a lot of outburst of laughter at that point in time.
So reveling and laughing have something to do with each other.
I feel like if you're reveling, you're laughing, right? Like I don't know what the technical definition of reveling is, but I feel like if you're reveling, there's a lot of laughter involved in reveling.
I don't know if reveling includes laughing normally, but with you, Eli, I can understand you, going a little bit. a little bit different from the definition. Let's see. Revel, to revel. Enjoy oneself in a lively and noisy way. I guess you can, right?
So I absolutely was reveling.
Oh, you were definitely reveling, because I will continue. Enjoy oneself in a lively and noisy way, especially with drinking and dancing. Now, I know the dancing's out, but the drinking?
I did not dance.
But dancing? But drinking? So there you go. A little reveling from Eli Savoy, a little laughing, probably a lot of drinking, and the Cardinals are deposited in 4 games by the Nationals. How about that?
And I don't like to take take joy in others' misery.
Hush, yes you do.
But when I do take joy in others' misery, I guarantee you it always involves the Cardinals. Maybe the Redskins. Usually the Cardinals, sometimes the Redskins. But I don't like to take joy in other people's misery.
Well, speaking of the Redskins, great segue. Coming up after the break, we'll talk to former Redskins great Joe Theismann. We'll talk football, of course, but a little bit on the Nationals as well. I know he's excited. He was tweeting a lot last night. 2 other quick things before we take the break. We never mentioned this yesterday, but the Mike Maddox 2 holes in one round story, which I thought was BS until a million people confirmed it. What? Again, we had so much going on yesterday, we didn't get to it, but that is absolutely crazy. The odds to do that?
Not a bad round
Astronomical.
of putt-putt.
Astronomical.
I think I did that last time I played putt-putt. I had 3.
It wasn't putt-putt, was it?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Okay. You're still reveling here. You might be pulling my leg. No, it was a regulation 18-hole golf course, according to everything I read.
Maybe he should have spent the day working with Dakota Hudson. Maybe Dakota Hudson could have lasted more than 15 pitches.
That is absolutely nuts. Also, there is a report now that Joe Madden has taken the job with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and that is not a surprise. So the former Cubs skipper is heading to Los Angeles, and he has the ties to Southern California. Again, no surprise that Madden lands with the Angels. Now we'll see what happens with the Mets and the Phillies and the Cubs and the Padres and whoever else needs a new manager. But I think Buck Showalter is certainly a guy that's in play for maybe the Phillies. Joe Girardi possibly will be in play for the Cubs, although David Ross still seems to be the leader in the clubhouse. But I think Girardi will be with the team before it's all said and done. Will return back to managerial duties with somebody for next season. Also, Chris Vanini, who was on with us last week, has his American Conference midseason report. Biggest surprise team is SMU, and his Offensive Player of the Year is Kenneth Gainwell. So more accolades for Kenneth Gainwell. We need to take a break. We're broadcasting live today from the Crowne Plaza East Hotel. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon. We'll hear from the coaches, Gene Robinson and Preston Harris, coming up in hour 2. But coming up next, it's Joe Theismann. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn, you bet your boots. AC trouble? Make your first call your last call. Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60, and 24-hour emergency service is billed at normal rates. Your comfort is their highest priority. Contact airdoctorsofmemphis.com or call 901-598-HVAC.
Dirt happens, as well as debris, dust, and damage. And when they happen to you, you need good, clean, fast service. You need Hilo Commercial Services. Hilo specializes in construction, commercial, food plant, and industrial cleaning with customized service just for you. Hilo is also an expert at high dusting to clean hard-to-reach places. When dirt happens, call Call Hilo Commercial Services, 901-277-6733, or visit HiloCommercial.com. Hilo Commercial Services, good, clean, and fast for you.
Check it out.
What, this is Sweetgrass?
I know, isn't it great?
Look at the giant bar and those TVs.
They've made a few improvements.
This is amazing. I thought Sweetgrass was perfect, but this is even better. Now I know why we haven't been to Sweetgrass in almost a week. I thought that was strange.
Yep, they've been busy making the atmosphere here at Sweetgrass even friendlier. And now you can catch a game here too.
The menu?
Still great food prepared by great chefs. Now it's just even more relaxed.
Just when I thought I couldn't love Sweetgrass more, they proved me wrong.
Your Memphis Tigers football team is back in action on Saturday, October 19th against AAC foe Tulane. This is a big game in the race for AAC dominance, and a loud and proud Memphis home crowd is necessary. Single game tickets start at just $20 and are available today at GoTigersGo.com. Come out and see one of the nation's most exciting teams. Memphis versus Tulane on Saturday, October 19th at 6 p.m. Sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Stripe up.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
This is Jason Mott. Join me November 9th downtown at the Column for our 8th annual Jason Mott Foundation Cornhole Challenge. Doors open at 6. For tickets and more information, click the events tab at jasonmottfoundation.org. Looking forward to seeing you out there, and let's strike out cancer.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Marts. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
My shot.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays. We are live today at the Crown Plaza East Hotel. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon. The coaches for this year's game, Gene Robinson from Fairleigh High School, Preston Harris from Douglas High School. We will talk to both coaches coming up in our next hour. But a lot to get to from the NFL, and I'm sure Joe's going to want to talk a little bit about the Washington Nationals. We are joined by Super Bowl champion, our good friend Joe Theismann, who you can follow on Twitter at Theismann7. Joe, how are you?
I'm good. Good morning, Eli. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning to you,
It's a great
Joe.
morning,
Yeah,
by the way.
I'm sure it is.
I know it's not such a. It's a little gloomy and cloudy in St. Louis, but hey, to be honest with you, not my problem.
Hey, look, the way it's going with the Redskins, Washingtonians need a little something to cheer about, and they got it with the Nationals. How about that with the Nats? It's a long time coming for the city of Washington and Major League Baseball. As you know, the Senators, you got to go way back to before we were all born, but now it's happened. And this was on the unlikeliest of years, Joe, because of the way the team started out. Did not look like they would make this kind of run, but I guess when you have pitchers like Scherzer and when you have Strasburg, you get together, you start hitting the ball a little bit, you have a chance, and they have proved it.
Yeah, they did. In the beginning of the year, everybody was thinking they ought to fire Dave Martinez, and we're 19-31, and this team's going nowhere. But it's an interesting dynamic because the last couple of years, the expectations for the Nationals have been very high. They win the division, they have more wins than anybody, and you look at that staff and everything's exciting. And in the beginning of this particular year, the bullpen was just horrible. I mean, you'd get your starters into the 6th and 7th inning, and then it was, Katie bar the door, you wind up losing games. I think Max got, in the beginning of the year before he got hurt, he got maybe 1 or 2 runs a game, and they were losing 4-3, 5-2, things like that. Then the bats came alive. I mean, that's a very formidable order, with Turner leading off with his speed, then Rendon. I mean, I've been glued to him for the last month, and when I drive around, I listen to the Nats games as well. I mean, it's somewhat of an interesting scenario here in Washington. The women's basketball team, the Mystics, won the WNBA championship.
Right.
A year ago, 2 years ago, the Caps win. Now the Nationals are on the way to the World Series, and, the Redskins are, trying to put pieces together to get this thing going.
What is your opinion on what's going on with the Redskins? They make the move with Jay Gruden. The quarterback situation has gone back and forth. And they still haven't gone with Haskins other than the a little bit there in one of those games. But where is this team headed right now?
It's a great question. I don't think anybody knows. I mean, we have a lot of very good young talent. The team's been somewhat dysfunctional. I mean, committed a lot of penalties in the first 5 games, 56 penalties in the first 5 games of the season, averaging 11 penalties a game. It's hard to win when things like that happen. But Terry McLaurin, the wide receivers come on. He's been their best receiver, and they expected that to happen. Kelvin Harmon hasn't played as much. They expect him to be a big part of it. Darius Geis went down the first quarter of the first game again. Well, he hasn't seen the field. He'll be due back probably in about 5 weeks. The offensive line has been in flux. The big concern was going to be the left tackle position, but Donald Penn has done a terrific job, I think, at the left tackle position, filling in for Trent Williams while he's away. And Trent won't play football this year, which, for whatever reason, I'm trying to get my arms around the reason why. He's walking away from $12 million, and he's 31 years old. The Redskins are not going to trade him. I just can't see that happening. And we can get into this Jalen Ramsey craziness trade, too, in a little bit. But I think the Redskins, you need stability in 2 positions. You need stability at the quarterback position, and you need stability at the coaching position. Jay provided that for a long time, but the change had to come. Things just weren't right. Evidently, I guess a new article has come out with Jay really didn't see eye to eye with management, which is a lot of cases what a coach and front office goes through. I know Bobby Beathard and Joe Gibbs, eventually didn't really see eye to eye through time. But there's been instability at the quarterback position. And Case is just a stopgap going forward. I think Colt McCoy earned the right to start this week. He didn't. New coach, new decisions. And Dwayne Haskins is not ready to play. So I think it would be a mistake to put him out there. I mean, if you look at the Redskins' schedule, for an example, you finish with Dallas, New York, and Philadelphia. Those are the last 3 games. But interspersed in the season, you go to Buffalo, you go to Minnesota, you've got the Jets. You've got a very formidable road ahead of you. San Francisco this week coming in, who's undefeated. So it's a challenging road going forward for the Redskins. But there was they tried not to win on Sunday, but they did. Won 17-16. Still haven't figured out that decision when you went for 2. I mean, the way Fitzpatrick was throwing the ball around, I'd have put it into a tie and let Fitz go win something for me.
Well, I think the Dolphins wanted to lose a little bit more.
But I'm not a head coach. Hey, we've seen coaches make foolish decisions. As great a job as Kyle Shanahan is doing in San Francisco, when the Atlanta Falcons had a Super Bowl in their hands, they started throwing the ball around when all they really needed to do was make New England use their timeouts.
Right.
Yeah. We saw it with the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. When you have 2nd and 1 on the 1, you decide to throw when you have Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. So, coaches make decisions and they go with what they believe is going to work, and it doesn't work out that way. But Washington just needs to find the football team just needs to find some stability. And I've said this before. It's up to the players to decide that they want to make a difference. Coaches, you can put the greatest plans in the world in, but it's really the players that make the difference.
Right, and it's interesting because of their struggles in a year where the NFC East right now is one of the weaker divisions. Every division leader has either 0 losses, 1 loss, or 2 losses. Philly and Dallas are 3-3. I mean, as bad as the Redskins are, they're 2 games out. I don't know if anybody wants to win the NFC
I know.
East.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Philadelphia is not as good as advertised. Dallas, now all of a sudden the rumblings are starting in Dallas. Their wide receiving core is nothing to get excited about. To give you an idea of Dallas's receiving situation, they've got Jason Witten, who's 82, 83 years old. I'm not sure. Somewhere around there. But God bless him. I mean, he's back playing ball at the tight end position. I mean, when that's your best option at a tight end position, you've got problems.
And they've tried to draft his replacement many times.
Yeah, and the Giants, I mean, don't sleep on Daniel Jones. I mean, the Giants are a young team. They've got challenges, but, youth sometimes makes up for, through enthusiasm, makes up for mistakes. It's like Greg Minuski, our defensive coordinator, says, hey, look, if you're going to make a mistake, make it going full speed.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hesitate, just go do it.
Right.
Figure it out after that.
What do you mentioned Jones, you talk about Haskins not ready to play, Kyler Murray was thrown out there right away. What do you think of this group of rookie quarterbacks?
I like them. I like Daniel Jones. I like Mason Rudolph. And I'm not just including the first-year guys, but the second-year guys as well. Mm-hmm. And then we've got, I think, a pretty good bunch coming in next year. And you need it. I mean, what's San Diego going to do when Phillip Rivers decides to hang it up? Phillip said he doesn't want to play the 40, which means he's probably got about a year left. Tom Brady, we don't even talk about him. I mean, we'll be talking here 4 years from now and saying, man, didn't Tom have a great game at the age of 46?
Yes, we will.
I mean, that seems like it's inevitable on the horizon.
Drew Brees,
I like this young group. They bring Drew's another one, but Teddy's done a really good job down in New Orleans keeping that ship going. I don't think Cam Newton's going to play. If I was Ron Rivera, I wouldn't play Cam Newton in Carolina. Cam can't run Nor's offense the way Kyle Allen can. I mean, the kid's undefeated. You've got Christian McCaffrey, but the kid gets the ball out of his hands. He operates the offense with a lot more efficiency than Cam did. You start looking at dollar signs, which is, I know we're spitballing a little bit, but, Cam Newton's contract, what is going to pay him $30 million? What are you, nuts? Dak Prescott should have taken the money on the table when it was there. Holding out for $40 million to be the highest paid quarterback in football. Russell Wilson is worth every penny he's paid.
Sure is.
I think Aaron Rodgers is worth every penny. You've got Matt Ryan with the Atlanta Falcons at $30 million, and they're 1-5. That's another hot seat down there in Atlanta. That's way too much talent on a football team. And it all started when they hired Steve Sarkisian down there in Atlanta after the Super Bowl. When the change came there, Kyle left, and they just really have been unsettled at that coaching position. I think that's, and you look at that offense with that talent, and you scratch your head and say, why? So, a lot of interesting things going on in football.
Oh, there is. It's been, I think it's been pretty crazy. A lot of teams that you expected to be up there are struggling. Some other teams have been surprises. Boy, Detroit got handed by the officials. They got it handed to them the other night, and they're an improved team. Yet they're sitting there
once again.
Right, they're last place in the NFC North. However, they've much improved. But Joe, what is going on here with this officiating, and especially with the way they've decided that they're going to call these pass interference replays? I mean, it looks like they're not going to reverse anything. What is happening in your mind after they said they were going to?
There's only one saving grace about this instant replay review of pass interference. It's on a 1-year trial.
Mm-hmm.
This is not something that is going to be permanent, and they have to get rid of it. We said it in the beginning; they had to get rid of it. It's the rule regarding hitting the quarterback cost Mike McCarthy his job. Clay Matthews did it twice in the early games. Cost 2 football games for Mike McCarthy. As much of an issue it seems like Aaron and Mike had, you lose, you're going to be gone in this business. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's the league meetings are I guess they started today again. And something's going to come out of the league meetings regarding it. And I get so sick and tired of listening to these former referees in the booth try and make excuses for crappy calls.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday.
Who's ever in the booth for Monday night, I don't even know who it is, but give me a break. I mean, it looks like just say the guy blew it. I know it's a brotherhood, but you're on television to tell the fans what's going on, not to try and placate the other referees.
Right.
It's a cockamamie BS kind of operation is what it is.
And that's why I'm glad Booger called him out.
Such to see if the call was right.
Right.
Well, I like what Booger did. I really like what Booger did. He's 100% right. Now, here's the problem. This is what's going to happen. The Detroit Lions, Matt Patricia, by the way, you love what he's doing with that culture. He's going to get a letter from the NFL, and the letter's going to read like this. Dear Matt, in the game against the Green Bay Packers, there were 2 calls that were made that were really wrong calls. We're very sorry. Good luck until you get fired. Okay? That's,
right.
I mean, it's like they don't realize, and this is why, I made a suggestion regarding instant replay. This was my suggestion before they came up with this cockamamie subjective thing that they're looking at. By the way, Al Riveron is the one man in New York makes the decision whether the play was an interference call, defense or offense. Mm-hmm. One guy. So Al Riveron basically is refereeing the National Football League in every game. So you have one individual making decisions for everybody. My suggestion was this after the debacle in New Orleans, is what you do is every coach is entitled to one, what I call, quote-unquote, mulligan. In other words, you can review any play at any time in the football game. You get one in the first half, you get one in the second half. It has nothing to do with the reviewable one. So that's for any particular play that you believe should be challenged.
Okay.
And it's that simple. It's just like a catch, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm so frustrated with people sitting in a room for hours and coming up with nothing. They come up with a whole bunch of words to describe a rule. Here's what a catch is. If you have possession of the ball and you have 2 feet inbounds, it doesn't matter what happens going out of bounds. Now, here's the second part of it. If you attempt to catch a football and it touches the ground in any way, shape, or form, it's an incomplete pass. That way, we don't have to sit here and say, did the ball roll a little bit? Did it not roll a little bit? You know, what is this? What is that? I mean, I'm getting so frustrated with, thank God for the Nationals. That's all I can say. Thank God for the Nationals.
Well, all right. You mentioned earlier Jalen Ramsey and the trade that he has made, and we're seeing this more and more now. Guys asking to be traded off of teams that aren't going anywhere, possibly. We saw it earlier this year with Mika Fitzpatrick. Of course, we had the whole debacle that happened earlier this year with Antonio Brown. What did this whole asking for trades, it seems to work because the teams end up having to trade the guys. So what's stopping more players now from asking to be traded if the teams are going to just bow down to them and move them?
You've opened Pandora's box right now. I'm telling you something. It is out. The players now are running the National Football League. How about that? What a novel idea. Kenny Stills down in Miami got upset with the owner there because he was on a Republican committee. So he got all upset, and basically the owner resigned from that committee because a player was upset. I mean, we're seeing things in the National Football League that are just, it's scary what's happening, where players can put this much pressure. And let me tell you something. When is a corner worth 2 number ones and a fourth? I thought I seen absurd when Joey Galloway was, when Keyshawn Johnson was traded for 2 number ones, and Joey Galloway was traded for 2 number ones. Now you've got a cornerback. Obviously, the Rams are desperate, and there's always going to be a desperate team in football. There's always going to be somebody who can't step away, but they're mired in their problems, and they're going to make some kind of a foolish decision. And to me, this is a foolish decision. But it's very interesting. I sent a tweet out this morning about Jalen Ramsey. He was hurt. He couldn't play because his back was bothering him, or he had a headache, or I don't know, hangnail, whatever it might be. And see, here's the problem: is coaches and ownership, they can't dispute that. They can't dispute injury. You know what I mean? They can't say that you're not. They can't tell you that your back is okay. So the player just says, okay, I ain't going to play. The heck with you. I don't give a damn about anybody on this football team. All I care about is me. That's all I care about. Put me in a better environment. And I knew Marcus Peters has struggled. He struggled in Kansas City. He struggled with the Rams. He was on his way out anyway. So they think they made a better deal. And they got a center, too, from the Browns. The Rams are one of those teams that we just talked about. There was an expectation that is being nowhere near met. Mm-hmm. And the Todd Gurley situation. What's up with him? Is Todd Gurley ever going to be what he was? Probably not. Is he going to be close to what he was? I doubt it.
So here's the thing.
So, when you look around the league, it's amazing to me.
Well,
just amazing.
Here, and as we thank Joe for being on with us, we always appreciate his time. Here's the thing: it just seems like
we done?
Yeah, we got. Yeah, I know. We can go all day, but
what do you have a commercial? You have a commercial break coming up?
We're up against a break.
I can't believe it.
We're up against it. But Joe, here's the thing: it's every time it seems like the NFL, which is obviously the number one viewer sport, people care. Look at the TV ratings, but they always try to find something to put a dent in it, to do something, whether it's the whole CTE thing, the concussion thing, whether it's the catch, now it's the pass interference, the officiating. It's like they can't leave well enough alone with a product that is so popular that they always try to do something for some reason to become controversial.
Real quick, what they need to do is sit down in a meeting and have on a big board, in the owner's meeting, right, or the competition committee, they need to have a big board that has KISS in front of them. Keep it simple. Just make it simple. Make it, we jump all over the referee's rear ends, and maybe rightfully so at times. But I feel so, and I make this very loud, I feel very bad for the referees because of the subjective nature of our game, and the rules are so clouded and confusing. What is this? What is this stuff? Oh, they didn't make the line of game. What the heck is that? I hear it now. Well, they didn't make the line of game. No, they didn't make a first down. They didn't get to the first down. What is this line of? Where does this come from? Oh, I got to go back to football 101 to learn this stupid language that they're teaching now. It's crazy.
And that's a great point.
I'm sorry, but
no. You're right, Joe, because you make a great point. They are in a bad position because they don't know half the time what the hell the rule is because it keeps changing or altering, and they don't know what the league wants them to, how to officiate. They seem like they're puppets now being controlled.
They don't know what to call.
Exactly.
They have no idea. And like I said, one man controls the outcome of 32 football teams. One man.
That is nuts. And you know what? Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're not the first one to say that with Riveron, but here's the thing. You know what we're going to do on Sunday? We're all going to watch these games. We're going to look because we love the game of football. And Joe, of course, played it at the highest level and played it so well. The former Super Bowl champion quarterback with the Washington Redskins and a good friend of ours. And we can't thank Joe enough for being on our program. Every once in a while we have him on, and he brings a lot to the table. You can follow him on Twitter at Theismann7. Joe, always right in the world, especially in D.C. with the Nationals. So be happy.
Go Nats. Go Nats. World Series champion, Washington Nationals. Write it down.
Thank you, Joe.
I told all those Dodger fans. It's coming out red. Not blue.
We'll see.
You, man, it's the Nats.
We'll get you back on after they win.
Oh, there you go. Now all of a sudden, yeah, sure. I'm sorry. Where's St. Louis? Oh, I'm sorry. They're home. Okay.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Bye.
Speaking of baseball, they have officially postponed tonight's Game 4, so that will be tomorrow. No baseball to be played at all today.
Hour one of the program brought to you by Davis Motorhome Mart, one of the top 10 Tiffin dealers in the United States. They have over 7.5 acres of beautiful travel trailers, motorhomes, fifth wheels, and toy haulers, towable half-tons, motorhomes from 27 feet up to 45 feet in length. Brands like Winnebago and Coachman, Puma, Highland Ridge. I mentioned Tiffin. They have customers that come from all over the country, even come from Canada, to converge on Memphis and Davis Motorhome Mart to purchase their motorhome. Right now they got a great deal going on with all the 2019s. They're trying to make room for those 2020s, so they got a big blowout sale going on all their brand new 2019s. This is the time to buy if you're in the market for a motorhome. Leave the stress at home and get away and travel to your favorite cities across this great country of ours in a motorhome from Davis Motorhome Mart. They're located at 1145 East Brooks Road. You can give them a call at 901-332-3414. That's 901-332-3414. When you do, tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays, or just go online. Find out more about them at davismotorhome.com. They are family-owned and operated. They've been around for a long time. They know what they're doing. So if you're thinking about a motorhome, think Davis Motorhome Mart. We'll take a break, come back with our final segment in hour number one. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. Available in Memphis now. Great for Football Grove parties, around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, try Sneaky Pucker, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV. Made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
In this corner is Bob, the Beast of Bargrass, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products. All found at your CBD store. With 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD store with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Ben Swinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Ben Swinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Ben Swinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Ben Swinger Glass.
If it's time for a new gun, rifle, or silencer, Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville on Highway 72 is the best place to go. I promise they have the newest, most exciting selection of guns and silencers you could ever want. I don't care if you shoot for fun, hunt, or just need a gun for personal protection, Tactical Guns and Gear has the best selection of firearms around. The only one-stop silencer shop in Tennessee. In less than 10 minutes, they do all the paperwork. Take your photo, originate gun trust, take your prints electronically, and the best part, you never have to scan them again. Yes, silencers are legal. No special licensing, just a simple background check. Silencers don't make your firearms silent. They simply reduce noise for more enjoyable shooting. Help protect against hearing loss. Reduce recoil. It makes you more accurate. Best silencer place in the entire state of Tennessee, right here in Collierville. For all things guns and gear, ask for Jake or Jim at Tactical Guns and Gear on Highway 72 and tell them Eli says hi. Online at tacticalgunsandgear.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. This hour is also brought to you by Davis Motor Home Mart. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Mics are hot.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays as we wrap up hour number 1. We're broadcasting live today from the Crown Plaza East Hotel. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon. We'll talk to the 2 coaches for the game coming up in hour number 2. Gene Robinson from Fairleigh High School and Preston Harris from Douglas High School. Jerry Palm's going to join us at the top of hour 2 to talk some college football.
Somebody has to explain to me what in the hell the Miami Dolphins are doing. They're now going back to Ryan Fitzpatrick as their starting quarterback. For what? You are the worst team in football. You have 0 wins. You're probably on your way to a winless season. Why? You're going to have the first pick. You traded for Josh Rosen. Shouldn't you figure out everything you can possibly find out about Josh Rosen this season so that you know whether he has any part of your future or not? What does playing Ryan Fitzpatrick do for that team at all?
No, the short answer is yes. They should be finding out what they have in Josh Rosen. You think in just a short period of time they think they figured it out, that they've seen enough in this in this little bit of action that we've seen so far from Allen. Remember, from Rosen, he didn't even start the season. Ryan Fitzpatrick was the starter opening day.
1 week ago today, they said Josh Rosen is the starter for the rest of the season.
Did they really?
Yes.
Do you start to – okay, we were talking a little bit about this with Joe Theismann. Brian Flores is a first-year coach with the Dolphins. Is he a puppet? Do you believe that ownership is calling the shots and he is doing what ownership is telling him to do?
I don't know what the heck's going on. I just don't understand why. What does playing – whatever, 40, how old, I don't know how Ryan Fitzpatrick, how old he is. What can possibly come out of him starting a game for you? You're trying to lose, so if you think he's the better quarterback, who cares? I just don't even I can't even comprehend what that thought process would be by anybody in the organization of why would you possibly say Ryan Fitzpatrick should be your starting quarterback.
But that goes back to, again, what Joe was saying about that 2-point try. You kick the extra point, you probably go to overtime, you see if you really cared to win the game, but they don't care to win the game. This is the first NFL team I can remember talking about actually tanking, right? Tanking for Tua, whatever the case is. So if that is the case, did they purposely throw a bad 2-point, to call a bad 2-point conversion try so that it would be snuffed out so that they would lose the game? And if that's the case, man, there's some real major issues. One thing is to quietly behind the scenes kind of tank. The other thing is blatantly, obviously tanking a game that you could have ended up winning the game. And now with Fitzpatrick, I don't know what the heck is going on with the Dolphins, as you said. All right, coming up, Jerry Palm. We'll switch gears, talk some college football. He'll kick off hour 2 for us here on Middays, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most
is the Wi-Fi signal pretty strong where y'all are at?
Has the best brands in the power tool industry. Honda
Seems
mowers,
like
trimmers,
y'all were
and
kind of cutting out there at the end of that last
blowers,
segment, but it kind of made itself better towards the end. So I was keeping an eye on that.
chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Man and Schindel.
Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the stream or are you talking about our broadcast?
No, over the actual air. Like
that's not
the live connection.
That has nothing to do with Wi-Fi. That's not Wi-Fi, so okay. I haven't seen it drop off at all, but I'll keep it on.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. As most of you know, I don't have a history of bragging.
No, that was just right now when you were trying to close out the segment. It was kind of dropping out every now and then.
We're the only diamond-level roofing
seem to get better at the end, though. I'm just going to keep an eye on it just in case.
Roofing companies that have been in business for 20 years. We've never had a justified claim against us. We are locally owned and family operated. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingles. We're experts in insurance claim. We do residential and commercial work. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. We support local youth sports and St. Jude's. We have worked with churches and veteran services to help those in need by providing services at a deep discount or even for free. We are currently working with Young Life to give them a free roof on the historic log cabin in Germantown. Five Ash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing. It's what we do. We're here for you.
And this corner is Bob, the Beast of Bargrass, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi, folks. Good news for bargain hunters and bandits from the Chevy Sheriff in Collierville. Sunrise Chevy has over 500 Chevys and used cars in stock just in time for the Sunrise Low Price Rodeo. Factory rebates up to $5,000, Sunrise discounts high as $8,000, and don't forget, Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good body shop? Bring it to Sunrise. We work on all makes and models. Remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought. Buy American and buy from Sunrise. There's always a sale at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Find new roads to 385 in Houston Levy and Collierville. Chevys cost less at Sunrise, partner.
One thing I really admire about Central Barbecue is their commitment to quality.
Then why do they let you do their commercials?
I'm talking about their food. Everything is prepared with devotion to taking the time and effort to create perfect barbecue.
Oh, I know. That's exactly why I was wondering why...
They're not kidding with that slow-smoked Memphis-style slogan. They smoke their pork for 14 hours. Do they have to? They do if they want to be the best barbecue in Memphis, and they are.
And yet they let you just throw together.
There's nothing better than Central Barbecue because they care.
Except apparently about their radio ads.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Let's do it.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays, broadcasting live today from the Crown Plaza East Hotel in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon. It'll be the 18th annual game. It'll be coming up on Saturday, December 14th, and later on in the hour. We'll talk with the two coaches, Gene Robinson from Fairleigh, Preston Harris from Douglas. Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on location. Austin Eldridge back in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's the Wednesday, October 16th, 2019 edition of the program. Sports 56 Middays delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, the great folks at FedEx. No matter what stage you're at in your business, there's room to grow online. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. And we couldn't be happier to talk about a new sponsor of Sports 56 Middays, the sponsor of our middle hour from 11 to 12, the great folks at Gold Strike Casino and Resort in Tunica, Mississippi. Not only the #1 casino, but as you probably know by now, if you have been down there, the #1 sports book. It's the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill, and it is on, ladies and gentlemen, the South's premier sports entertainment venue. Inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort, you can wager on all of your favorite sports at one of 10 betting kiosks located throughout the resort and watch the game on 60 HD screens while you lounge in plush seating, enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Top Golf Swing Suite. Yes, they have a Top Golf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. And with a 50-foot bar, 16 video poker machines, and lively entertainment, Moneyline Book and Bar and Grill is the South's only venue that brings together sports, gaming, dining, and nightlife into one exciting destination. Whether you're an avid sports fan or just looking for a special place to have a good time with friends, hey, this state-of-the-art 6,000-square-foot setting is the place to be. So visit the Moneyline Bar, Book and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort. Hey, Monday Night Football, they got happy hour specials, or visit them anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi. It's the new Moneyline Book at the Gold Strike Casino Resort. So happy that they are now a part of our show each and every day. Time now for Jerry Palm.
It's time for Sports 56 Middays Weekly Chat with Jerry Palm, college football and basketball writer for CBSSports.com. Here are Greg, Eli, and Jerry.
He is Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. He joins us every Wednesday during both the college football and basketball season. So, JP, you got bragging rights on me. I picked Purdue close. I did not expect an absolute blowout, and that's what they did. Maryland is really, really bad.
Yeah. I mean, thank God for Rutgers.
Thank God for Rutgers.
I wish I could soften that blow for you, Greg, but man, they're bad. I mean, I can't even give you anything they do well. The only play that seemed to work for them was when the quarterback ran the ball.
Yeah, Pigram. Look, Mike Locksley is a horrible, horrible hire. It's a bad hire. He'll be out in another year, and then they'll be looking for another coach.
Yeah. That was a recruiting hire. They hired him because he could recruit. The problem is he can't coach.
No.
No,
he can't.
I mean, he's probably a good offensive coordinator. Maybe. I don't know. But his current offensive coordinator is terrible. I mean, they had plays. They had a couple guys open downfield that the quarterback threw basically into the stand. And then, see, even the short passes he's throwing behind guys. The pick six was, you should be taking a knee there and getting off the field. Because what are they going to do? Go downfield and try and kick a field goal? Something they haven't done literally the entire season.
Anybody can look good as a coordinator playing or coaching under Nick Saban with those players that are mostly all going to the NFL. You just got to be able to decipher which ones are good coaches.
He was a good coordinator. He was a good coordinator. Yeah, but he was a good coordinator before he got the New Mexico job, too. I think, where was he before that? Like Illinois, maybe? I mean, it's kind of the Peter principle.
Well, he's had the Maryland. He's been with Maryland. He's had the connection with Maryland. But I still look. He proved to me when he went to. He proved to me when he went to. Was it New Mexico or New Mexico State? Whichever way it was, he proved to me he was a bad head coach then.
New Mexico.
Yeah, so he he was a failure.
Well, to be fair, let's not act like a bunch of other people having success in New Mexico.
Well, Bob Davie had some good years.
Yeah. Well, but he was like 2 I don't know. He won, I think, less than a handful of games in 2.5 or 3 years there in New Mexico. I mean, but they were bad, and they had off-field problems, and it was just, I mean, look, if this guy's going to get a second chance as a head coach, I mean, great. Maybe he learned something being around Saban. I don't think he deserved that second chance at a place like Maryland. Maybe Maryland Eastern Shore, but not Maryland.
I agree.
How was your experience with the band?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, we won the game easily. I'm still recovering, but I'll probably be okay.
No serious injuries?
Wear hats backwards out of the stadium. That's always a good way to end the day. I got engaged on Friday, so that was cool.
Oh, congratulations.
Wait, hold on. Whoa, a lot of stuff went down this weekend.
Back up now.
You can't just throw that in there.
Well, apparently I just did.
Well, congratulations.
So good weekend all around,
I would say so.
And I'll probably be able to watch again by Friday.
I'm impressed. So how shocked were you by what happened with Georgia?
Oh, stunned. How could you not be? I mean, that's a complete no-show. And at home, no less. That's, great job by Muschamp in South Carolina. Man, they showed up ready to go. And Georgia didn't, and South Carolina took advantage of it. It was, it's a disaster for Georgia because now, if they're going to make the playoffs, they have to win the SEC. That means beating Florida and Jacksonville. It means winning at Auburn, and it means winning the SEC championship game against likely the Alabama LSU winner.
Right.
So good luck with that. And your margin for error is gone. Before this, you could have afforded to lose one of those first 2 games. Now they can't.
Well, I can guarantee you that every league other than the SEC was happy to see that result.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC still has a way, to put 2 teams in. It's just not going to be Georgia at this point. Well, it could be Georgia, but they'd have to do what we just said, and then the Alabama LSU winner finds a spot as well, maybe. But it depends on what other teams do.
What if the Alabama LSU loser doesn't lose another game, and they are at 11-1?
Yeah.
Who do you think? Like, what conferences would get in ahead of them? Would anybody else get in ahead of them with 1 loss?
Well, yeah, any undefeated team would.
No, I'm saying, would any other conference champion with 1 loss get in over that team with 1 loss, not even winning their division?
Well, yes, the Big Ten champion would. Oklahoma, I'm not so sure. Especially because in order for Oklahoma to be the Big 12 champion, it means losing, beating Texas again, but losing to somebody else. So that's a little bit different. But if Ohio State loses to Wisconsin or Penn State or somebody and still ends up winning the Big Ten, then, they could do it. I think 12-1 Ohio State would get in ahead of LSU or Alabama.
Yeah, didn't we have the year where, who was it? Was it Ohio State? Somebody, what was the year where the team didn't win the division? Maybe it was Alabama. Didn't win the division and still
Alabama.
got in? Yeah, yep. Alabama got into the playoffs. So
Ohio State did it.
Ohio State did it as well, right?
The year Penn State won the division.
I think the year that Alabama and Ohio State were battling before, I think they were both 12-1.
The year Ohio State lost to Penn State, they got in.
Yeah, because I was arguing for Penn State to get into the playoff, and instead Ohio State went in. But like
2016,
but Penn State was 11-2. Ohio State was 12-1.
Yes,
because Penn State had lost to Pitt and to somebody else. Won the tiebreaker with Ohio State in the conference, but they lost to Pitt in non-conference, and that's why they were left out.
Yeah, they weren't being compared to another conference champion. That's what I wonder how they will compare with what LSU's doing, with what Alabama's doing. The loser of that game, how will they compare the loser? Again, assuming they don't lose any other games, to another conference champion.
Right, you're talking about an 11-1 team versus a 12-1 champion.
Yeah,
I think certainly the Big Ten champion aces them out. I think there's a chance 12-1. Oklahoma could do it. But it would depend on who they lose to, because, they can't lose to I mean, they're talking about beating Texas again, so you're talking about losing to, Iowa State, TCU, somebody like that. I don't know. But still, 12-1 conference champion in a decent league. We're not talking about the Oregon. We're talking about Oklahoma. But I don't know, maybe even Oregon would have an argument, if they finish it out. But I don't know. I just think that 11-1 LSU has a pretty strong case, but I don't think there's any way they take out a 12-1 Big Ten champion. It would have to be somebody else.
Well, that would be hard for Oregon to make that argument with a loss to Auburn, and both teams would have beaten Auburn.
Right, and Auburn's got Washington, don't they, this week? And Washington already has 2 losses, but they could certainly spoil things for Oregon if they're even still considered to be a possibility at the end for a playoff.
Oregon is the only realistic hope for the Pac-12.
Right.
And they need help.
Well, let me ask you about Wisconsin. They play Ohio State next week. If they lose that game, still win their division, and then win the Big Ten championship, they still obviously have a great argument to be in the playoff.
I'd be shocked if they weren't.
Well, how about if you had...
I did 12-1 Big Ten champion. We're assuming Ohio State. 12-1 Big Ten champion Wisconsin. Also, they're really the same team right now.
But if Ohio State beats them during the regular season, and then let's say Penn State is the team they play in the Big Ten championship, and Wisconsin beats Penn State, they're the Big Ten champions with 1 loss. But let's say Clemson goes undefeated. Yep. Clemson goes undefeated, Alabama goes undefeated, Oklahoma goes undefeated, and then you have a 1-loss LSU that lost a 3-point game to Alabama during the regular season.
It's still Wisconsin.
It's still Wisconsin? Okay.
Yep.
It'll be fun. I mean, we talk about this every year, and then it ends up not having that kind of scenario. But what did you think about?
It's still Wisconsin because the strength of schedule in the Big Ten is good enough with the extra win to count over LSU.
Although the division,
but LSU has a good argument. LSU has a good argument,
right?
But I think it'd still be Wisconsin.
And if you look at the whole, the dominance, both have certainly been dominant. You can't be. I mean, Wisconsin doesn't allow anybody to score against them. You can't be any more dominant.
Wisconsin
got 4 shutouts already. They've got 4 shutouts already.
Yeah, they've been incredible defensively, and they run the ball with their Heisman candidate.
And the point they have given up, I think almost all the points they have given up have been lovely party gift points. The team's already in the bag.
Yeah, they were up 35-0 before Michigan scored, and they were up 24-3 on Northwestern when Northwestern scored their 2 shots. When the game has been in doubt at all, they've given up 3 points. Yeah, that's it for the entire season.
But here's the thing: as impressive as they are, and they have been impressive, and they've given up only 28 total points. The proof will be in the pudding not this Saturday. The proof will be in the pudding the following week when they play Ohio State. Here's the thing about that division, though. That division, I was with you. I thought Minnesota would lose to Nebraska. They clobbered Nebraska. First of all, Scott Frost.
Yeah, you know what? Adrian Martinez didn't play. Adrian Martinez was hurt. He didn't play.
Yeah, but if he played, how much closer would it be? Minnesota, Fleck is doing a really nice job with them, and Frost has been slow to getting Nebraska going.
He has, but I think there's a big drop-off at that position behind Martinez. I don't think that they got much out of that quarterback at all against Minnesota. And Minnesota's defense is not strong. I mean, Minnesota would not be undefeated right now, I'm convinced, if they don't knock out Elijah Sindelar and Rondale Moore on the same play early in the Purdue game.
Mm-hmm.
Because Purdue came back with a freshman quarterback who wasn't ready to play in that game and almost won. I mean, they came back on him, late. Had a chance for an onside kick late in that game. So, it was, I think if Purdue's regular offense is out there, that could have been a different result. That team is not nearly as good as its record would indicate.
So this
and they're going to win their next two because it's Maryland and Rutgers.
Right.
So
right. Hate to say you're right, but you are
Rutgers
right.
This week.
South Carolina having that big win over Georgia now play Florida. Florida is reeling a bit after the loss, although I thought they put a pretty good effort together, but they still ended up losing by 14 to LSU. Can South Carolina?
Right, gave up 42.
Yeah, can South Carolina do it again? They're at home, and they're a 5-point dog.
Caught by surprise. Yeah, I don't think they'll be caught by surprise, though. Florida, that is. I mean, I think, Florida coming off a loss is going to be more ready to play. Georgia was just, I don't know, they were just flat. I don't expect Florida to be flat after just seeing what South Carolina did to Georgia.
The thing to me, the only question there to me with Florida is, like, what's left in the tank after you've just played two massive games?
Well,
that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, but it's the SEC. It's the SEC. If you're going to do well in this league, there's got to be something in your tank every week.
Mm-hmm.
You better show up every week in this league.
And they do have a bye week next week before Georgia, so that helps. I thought if Georgia was next week, I'd really be worried, but they got a bye week in between there. But
if Florida showed up, Florida shows up flat, I mean, that's on them. You got to be ready to play in this league. If you have aspirations like they, I'm sure, have, you got to show up every week. Can't take a week off.
Jerry,
until they give you one on your schedule.
Jerry Palm joining us here on the program from CBSSports.com. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. Memphis had a tough loss at Temple. They did not play well in the first half of the game, and then, of course, the controversy at the end on the reversal of what looked like a catch, or at least didn't have enough evidence to overturn it, and they overturned it. So they get the loss. But Memphis, if they run the table...
NFL ref?
Yeah, apparently. They used the ones that they're going to use for the Eagles game, but although that was in Minnesota. But if the Tigers run the table, win the conference, and Boise State loses a game somewhere on the schedule, which I don't think is that daunting, and let's say Appalachian State goes undefeated, who's the New Year's 6 representative from the group of 5?
Memphis. So I don't think it's App State. They haven't played a good enough schedule. They won't have played a schedule like either the teams in the American or the teams in the Mountain West. It's going to take a special set of circumstances, like some significant non-conference win for a Sun Belt team to be the group of 5 rep.
But the thing with App State, though, if they were to go undefeated...
I don't think they beat North Carolina, right?
And they would have to. They still play South Carolina.
Didn't App State beat North Carolina?
They did. Yeah.
So they would they'd have a win over the team that took Clemson to the wire, and a win over a team that beat Georgia.
Yeah, but if they're end up 5-7 or whatever, what's that mean? Oh, they beat South Carolina too.
Well, no, they haven't played them yet. But we're saying if they go undefeated, they would have a win over South Carolina too.
They still have to beat South Carolina,
right?
Yes.
Oh well, I don't know, maybe. I mean, but I think they'd be depending highly on how those teams finish the year. If those aren't bowl eligible teams, the fact that South Carolina showed up to play Georgia, didn't show up to play App State, doesn't really help App State much. They're going to have to. I just think it'll take a special set of circumstances. I don't think those are the kind of non-conference games that get the committee's attention. I think you have to talk about playing somebody that's, probably ranked.
Right.
So close to it.
But your thought process is, even though Memphis has no room to err here, they have to run the table. Boise has to lose a game somewhere, and you think Memphis would still have the better overall resume, which I agree with. But try to get into that New Year's 6. Okay.
So what I wrote this week, I don't know if you saw this, but what I wrote this week was a debate over one-loss Cincinnati versus undefeated Boise, with Cincinnati's loss being undefeated Ohio State.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Albeit 42-0. 42-0. I mean, they got it handed to them, but why should Cincinnati be any different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State's doing that to everybody.
I think if
so
Cincinnati,
I think that's a much more compelling argument.
Oh yeah, I think if Cincinnati runs the table, which would include beating Memphis on Thanksgiving week on that Friday, and win
probably on back-to-back days.
Yeah, and win the and win the conference championship, and they have the one loss to Ohio State, and Boise goes undefeated, and all they have basically is a win over Florida State, which is okay, but not great, and they will have beaten a BYU team, which I think they play this week, and BYU's not that good. They just lost to USF. I think I would have Cincinnati in there. Cincinnati would be my rep, but I know that undefeated thing kind of rings. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. So, anyways, I think of the potential teams to knock out an undefeated Boise State, I think the only one that could do it is Cincinnati. I have a Rutgers stat for you. 2 of them. That's one of my colleagues wrote about this week. Rutgers has been shut out in 10 Big Ten games. Nobody else in the league has been shut out that many times, going back to 2000. So almost 2 decades. Rutgers has only been in the league since 2014. And they've been shut out more times in Big Ten conference games than everybody else has, going back 2 decades.
I mean,
they've only got 7 points in 4 conference games this year. 7 points against Maryland in 4 conference games.
So here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to know: is there buyer's remorse on the Big Ten adding Rutgers, even though it's New York, New Jersey area, but nobody watches them or cares about them or goes to their games? Are they getting what they thought they were going to get when they brought in Rutgers? For goodness sakes.
I don't know. They're getting what I thought they were going to get. I had buyer's remorse before they actually bought them.
So did I. I still wondered why Maryland was going there, but
and don't take this wrong, but they can have Maryland back too.
No, I'd rather be in the ACC, for goodness sakes. I know why they made the move, because of the money, but at least Maryland. Come on, Maryland has basketball. They're studs. They do. Rutgers brings nothing to the table. Absolutely
nothing. If you are
nothing.
shopping at the dollar store, you're going to get that type of product. I mean, that's what you're getting.
I never understood that. I mean, obviously,
we got a quarter for it.
Right. Obviously, it was New York, New Jersey market, and I laughed at that when it happened, because I'm from New Jersey. Nobody watches Rutgers. Nobody goes to the games.
We all knew that.
I mean, it made no sense.
Everybody knew that, but the league
apparently. He is Jerry Palm, CBSSports.com. You can follow him on Twitter at JPPalmCBS. Read all his great stories on CBSSports.com and catch him every Wednesday right here on Middays. Again, congratulations on your engagement, Jerry. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, take care.
Take care.
By the way, talk about that South Carolina-Florida game. Will Muschamp said on the SEC teleconference that Ryan Helinski is expected to be ready to go for that game this week. He has practiced, and they expect that he will be ready to roll.
Yeah, so you got Helinski, you got Maurer. Looks like he'll be able to go, both coming off injuries. And then you got Joe Moorhead announcing Schrader to get the start over Tommy Stevens for Mississippi State.
Fleet Feet is the place to go, folks, to get all your running gear, especially shoes, just right for you. If you go on into Fleet Feet, they've got the technology there. They'll take a look at you, but they've got also things that they can use technology-wise to just figure out where you put the pressure on your foot when you're running or when you're walking, and then fit you in shoes that are just right for you based on the way that you run or walk. Plus, they've got all the other gear that you need at either one of their 2 locations. In East Memphis, at the Laurelwood Shopping Center there, Poplar Perkins Extended, next to the Panera Bread Company. And then in Collierville, at Poplar and Houston Levy, they're next door to the Huey. So go into either one of the 2 locations for all of the gear you need. You can also check them out online at fleetfeetmemphis.com. They are Fleet Feet.
All right, we need to take a break. We'll come back with more live from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon. We're expected in the next 30 minutes to be joined by the 2 coaches, Gene Robinson from Fairleigh High School and Preston Harris from Douglas High School. Don't forget, it's Wednesday. That means Sigmund Bloom. He'll answer all your fantasy football questions starting at noon. And there's many ways to get those questions in. You can text them at 67129. You can hit us up on Twitter, at sports56whbq.com on Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. You can also call when he joins us at 360-8255. First Bank phone lines will be wide open for Sigmund Bloom, but that's at 12 o'clock. When we come back, we got an open segment. We'd love to hear from you on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. Hit us up on the First Bank text line at 67129. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Put the Case IH legacy of power and efficiency to work in your hay fields and feedlot. Mid-South Ag Equipment has tough Case IH farm-all tractors that can handle a variety of chores fast. With their expert blend of engine and hydraulic power, farm-all tractors can easily tackle loading and material handling chores as well as mowing and baling. Models range from 65 to 90 horsepower, so you're sure to find one that's perfectly powered for the jobs you do. Stop in or call 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag Equipment, your Case IH headquarters.
Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products, all found at Your CBD Store. With 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD Store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD Store with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD Store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD.
And this corner is Bob the Beast of Bargrass, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe!
Hey, Gregory,
what a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets.
Hey, what are these 2 coaches' names again so I can make sure I get those right on the podcast?
Gene Robinson.
Dayquil Severe. The
and
daytime
Preston
coughing, aching,
Harris.
stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through
Gene
your day.
Robinson and
Medicine.
Preston Harris.
Use as directed.
That is
Keep
correct.
up, reach your children.
Pop the top on your next party. 34 North Cocktails. In Memphis now. For football grove parties around the hunting campfire, and when you get home, entertain friends. Pop a premium can of Barrel Thief. Tastes just like an old-fashioned Barrel Thief made with aged bourbon, bitters, a hint of orange, a touch of vanilla, 15% ABV. Then, for you vodka lovers, a refreshing lemonade premium vodka cocktail, 12.5% ABV, made with super premium vodka, lavender, simple syrup, and lemonade. Delicious and smooth. Let the party begin with 34 North Cocktails.
Hewlett & Dunn, nestled on Old Town Square in Collierville, has 4,000 square feet of the largest boot selection in 200 miles. International boot legends Luke Casey, Double H, Red Wing, Ariat, Justin, and Tony Lama. Hewlett & Dunn has rubber hunting boots by Dry Shod, and recently has expanded the selection of safety work boots. Filson Hunting Gear, biggest selection in 3 states, and now carrying Duckhead. Western wear, hunting attire, jeans, belts, hats, and more at 111 North Center Street, Collierville on Old Town Square. You need to stop by Hewlett & Dunn? You bet your boots.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again,
our great guest in an Eli Savoy.
Let's do it.
So the Exhibit 10 Palooza is continuing today over at Grizzlies' offices.
Did you find me?
Finally? Signs the
Utah, if I know that.
Exhibit 10 Fiesta is just continuing.
Where do I know Jarrett Utah?
Well, he played in the G League.
At Utah? Where did he play his college ball? The Caver guy got.
That's what they do. They have sign your deal. You get waived.
Oh.
Just Hannah's. That's what they have. These contracts are.
Gotcha.
You sign a camp, get waived if you with that team's G League affiliate.
Okay.
Decent G League has been a pretty deep player.
He was a good college player, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. But so how many is that now? If going to bring it home,
that'll be that. That is their 4 Exhibit 10 contract, which I believe is the limit.
So
I believe you get 4.
So right now we know of 6 players that will definitely be on the hustle. Correct? It's in the 4.
Barring these guys getting a else. See, you'll have Rusty, Udolph, and then the two guys, whatever they're there.
Conchar. Speaking of the Grizzlies, they are back in action tonight at Oklahoma. They will play, and they'll play their fifth preseason game on Friday a 2-game season next Wednesday, as they'll play at Miami. The home will be a week from this Friday, Chicago Bulls. But the Grizzlies over non-NBA team they've played so far in the preseason, the Carolina Charlotte Hornets, and they lost. So tonight,
no Brandon Clark, no Ja Morant.
What did I say yesterday?
So, and then of course Jonas and Melton, who have been out for the preseason.
So Jaren Jr. will play. I guess they're punishing him because he fouled out their day. They didn't play enough, so they'll get him back.
Sure, he'll play, and
he won't play on Friday.
The other two, Dylan, and maybe who else is guys wrestling?
Why would you buy a ticket? And there's not that many people that do, but why would you buy a ticket to a preseason game?
I don't know. You're.
I'm not Mr. Preseason.
I get it free.
I went to one of their three. Basically, that pickup season. But I wanted to take a look. I wanted to see John. I wanted to see if there was, the response and all that. It was fun. I that first one against Maccabi Haifa, but I don't see how people would want to.
You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I still. It's sports, dude. It's not. We're not hammered in nails and laying down concrete. It's still fantastic.
One of them, I'd have rather been at home hammering nails. It was because it was every bit as bad as that.
Well, speaking of pouring concrete, this is going to be quite a day, I think, for our week cover in college football. Obviously, Memphis is a big game with Tulane, where they are coming off a loss in the series last year at New Orleans. But from the SEC, think about these matchups. Mississippi State, again, these are the schools in the area, our region that we cover. They play LSU. You have Alabama, Tennessee. They play at Alabama. You have they host Texas, and you have Arkansas host.
I'm not in the ballpark of those other.
Well, they may not be in that ballpark because they've accrued some losses, but they're still talented. Don't tell me they're not a talented team, and that'll still be for Ole Miss.
They're good.
Ole Miss is the one I look at it and I go, possibly they can win it, but I don't know. I mean, I still have a big challenge. And then you have those three in Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi State, where it's going to be difficult. Before the season started, we probably thought Mississippi State would have a chance, but now they are in disarray. They're trying to the offense, even being it was slowed down at least by Tennessee's defense. We'll see. LSU has given up a lot of points, but we know they're certainly capable, and offensively, I don't know how you slow down them.
We were talking earlier about the NFL Theismann joint. Got a couple of on the first about the two first great 20s. A couple of guys that maybe are good starters in 2 to 3 years, or the best corner in football. The Rams lost the Super Bowl last year. They got to win now. Well, you can first of all from picks, and the Rams are 3-3 right now, right? 3-3?
Yes, 3-3.
So we don't know where that draft pick's going to be. I mean, that could be a pretty decent, depending on how the rest of this season goes. But the thing, any first round pick you start more than 2 years down the road. I mean, you're trying to get a starter. First round picks start a lot in the NFL, but it's also cost control. Jalen Ramsey's good, but that's another guy the Rams have now to keep him, rather than first round pick. So you got cost controlled for 5 years.
Don't you also start to worry when a guy?
I mean, you're paying Aaron Donald. You're now going to pay Jalen Ramsey.
Jared Goff.
Years you're going to be paying Jared Goff. So it's all cap, and now you're adding another.
Do you start a player that just went through this whole episode with the Jacksonville Jaguars that maybe that be a problem? That what happened in Los Angeles is he went out. You just dealt 2 first-round picks. I think that's a lot to give up. I know Jalen Ramsey is a very, very talented player, but right now the way this is, Joe said the NFL now turnaround, and there's some people that think this is good, that the players are running the league and not the shows, the upper elite, upper crusty ownership, which has always been the case in the NFL. Whereas in the NBA, who runs the league? The players run the league. Well, maybe it's a good thing if the players start to league as well doing the NBA. But I don't want to have more of this. You're going to have disgruntled players that want to be dealt, and they get the upper hand. The one that didn't was held out. Paychecks were held, and he ended up not joining the team. No, he was under contracts. Still looks
that, so he knows he's getting off.
But I don't know why he wouldn't play from the beginning, knowing that you're going, and therefore you don't lose the
reason. Le'Veon,
that is right there in you for the future. Who knows what's going to happen down the road? You're not going to get that longer deal, and you're giving
exactly. The week side needs to get hurt, the better.
You weren't paid last year. Every week that you need to get, or however they pay him, and you didn't get it. You gave up all that money with hope that by staying out that 1 year, you have made yourself physically more to serve your body for the long distance, and you'll get that big-time contract. Well, and we'll see. Ramsey, great player. 2 first-round picks.
Rams' idea, yes, it is a win now. There's no doubt. I mean, you were at the Super Bowl last year.
Of course.
The thing is, I don't think that corner is the issue necessarily. And somebody else pointed this out on Twitter yesterday. If you look at their division, there's not a bunch of great receivers you have to cover in that division. It is a division pretty much void of top level receivers. The teams you're trying to beat, San Francisco doesn't have anybody, and Seattle, Tyler Lockett's the best receiver that you're dealing with amongst those teams that you're trying to compete with to win that division. So is a shutdown corner really that important in that division that you're trying to win? And is it the problem for the Rams to begin with? Also got a text from Nico. He says, I was looking forward to playing Detroit this weekend until I saw Monday Night Football. Now I feel like the refs are going to give Detroit a makeup game and call some BS against my Vikings in response to what they did to the Lions in Lambeau. Never in the history of the game have refs determined outcomes more than they do now. I don't know if they'll be giving any makeup calls, but that is a possibility.
But what about the point that Joe made, which we both knew already, and a lot of people knew this as well, that it comes down to one man, Al Riveron, making the decisions on these replay calls. One guy has all that power.
But see, I get that point. But to me, in some way, that's guy's definition of indisputable evidence versus another guy's definition of indisputable evidence. Here we have a standard. It's what Al Riveron believes is indisputable evidence.
Okay.
There is a one person who is determining all of these things. So they are using their judgment and what they believe based. And it's not a difference of opinion because it's a different guy looking at it.
And I would assume that Al Riveron has met with all officials of teams to tell those teams how he looks at that. I would imagine that's happened, right? Because it would be asinine if it hasn't happened, where they understand how it's going to be called if it goes to replay, because I think he'd meet with the teams this season and they would know what. So, you could looking at it. Well, you have one, but you make sure you know how he sees it.
With the whole, it just was a bad idea. They're going to change these calls. It is just the way they did this to. I almost. It is. We're going to that having this whole thing is stupid, so that they'll get rid.
Right.
So you just get rid of this. It's not worth having this as a review.
What I hate to see is experiment basically. As opposed to an experiment, and that's it. An experiment should be taking place. A one-and-done type thing, it was a failure, and you hate to see that happen. The regular season, when games count, and it could affect the fate of a team, because it's Detroit on night.
And I think, Al Riveron every week sends out a video of various calls from the week before, and on the video, because I get these videos, and he explains one is. Whether they're controversial or whatever, he'll have things of why it wasn't something. Like he sends out like a 2-minute video, 3-minute video each and every week with various calls and shows, explains why this is or isn't a penalty in every one of those situations.
Right. Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're expected to be joined by the coaches of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game, which will be the 18th edition. It'll be Saturday, December 14th. That's Gene Robinson and Preston Harris. And then Sigmund Bloom will join us in hour number 3 to answer all your fantasy football questions. No dinner and a movie this week, but it will return next Wednesday. This is Middays, live from the Crowne Plaza East Hotel on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Sports Time with Rollo and Stacks. Every weekday afternoon from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, not for sale to minors. Website restricted to adults 21 and over.
Let's be real. Most smokers aren't looking for some overcomplicated vaping machine. That's why we created MyBlue. MyBlue is simple. Our pre-filled liquid pods mean there's no mess. One charge and MyBlue lasts all day. And with our range of flavors and nicotine options, you have a choice. MyBlue answers on what matters for smokers. Real nicotine satisfaction. And right now, try MyBlue for $1 at select retailers or myblue.com.
Fall is fast approaching, and you know what that means. Time to start thinking about covering your pool. The best way to protect your pool, your loved ones, and your pocketbook is with a safety pool cover. Mario's Pools on Exeter and Germantown has the best advertised price on all pool safety covers, solid and mesh. Keep your pool looking great year after year. A safety cover requires less maintenance, saves money on chemicals and water, prevents standing water, and extends the life of your liner. Call Mario's Pools at 552-3399. That's 552-3399. Or just walk in and see him in Germantown on Exeter Road. Plus, he specializes in pool closings. Mario's has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Check out his reviews on Facebook. Protect your investment. Call Mario's Pools today. 552-3399.
And this corner is Bob the Beast of Bargrass, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's game on at the new Moneyline Book Bar and Grill inside the Gold Strike Casino Resort. Now you can bet on all of your favorite sports and watch the games on 60 HD TVs while you lounge in plush seating and enjoy craft beers, signature cocktails, and great food. Plus, don't miss the Topgolf Swing Suite, a virtual reality experience with a variety of fun interactive games every sports fan will love. Visit the Moneyline Bar, Book, and Grill at Gold Strike Casino Resort for Monday Night Football happy hour specials. Or anytime you want a piece of the best sports action in Mississippi.
Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products. All found at your CBD store. With 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD store with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again,
our great guest in Eli Savoy.
Let's do it.
Mics are hot.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays, live today from the Crowne Plaza East Hotel. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon, the 18th annual game. Will be coming up on Saturday, December 14th, and of course we'll broadcast it on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7, as we do each and every year. The coaches have been announced. Gene Robinson from Fairleigh High School, Preston Harris from Douglas High School, and Gene Robinson will coach the red team. Joins us now here at the Crowne Plaza East Hotel. Coach, congratulations on the honor.
Thank you.
So history will be made as Gene Robinson is the first alumnus of the game to serve as a head coach.
Wow.
It probably doesn't seem that long ago when you were playing the darn game.
No, it was just the other day, man, that I was excited, receiving my invitation to play in the game. And not only was I playing in the game, I was being able to play under a legendary head coach in Stan Collins.
Oh, wow.
So I went to Whitehaven, and hearing every good story about Coach Collins, man, I was fired up, to play for a legend that I would say I was fired up to play for him, man. Like I said, I'm excited and honored and blessed to be in this position now. I know I can't fill his shoes, you know what I mean, but I'm going to do my very best.
What do you so that week as a player, I mean, it's tough because you're trying to put in offenses and defenses and all this in a week. So what can you take from your experience as a player and try and apply it to doing it as a coach?
Man, competition. I think the whole week we really had a blast because we were competing all week long, 1-on-1, 7-on-7, and you had to make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a big platform for everyone involved, including the small private schools, the 1As, the 2As, the 6As. Everyone's on the same platform, and we get to compete with one another all week long and in front of scouts, So if you're a dude, man, you get juiced up for times like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Gene, you made a great point. I mean, some of the kids obviously will have made their minds up, and maybe they're the more of the heavily recruited players. But for a lot of these players, they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if they're playing their final game.
Right.
So they're going to have this opportunity in front of scouts. But the other thing is also and you could speak to it because you went through it, the camaraderie. To be able to meet guys that either you've never seen before, you've never played against, they come from a different walk of life, or guys that you've played against or played with, and it all comes together for that week.
Man, it's amazing because like I played in the game, Greg King, we played Little League all the way through, and we were just excited to play against each other one more time, you know what I mean? And we ended up playing in college in the Music City Bowl. He went to Tennessee, I went to North Carolina. But it was amazing those times like that. I was teammates with guys from Germantown, you know what I mean? And they beat us in the play. We were big rivals, but just being on the same team and the camaraderie and man,
no grudges.
No
grudges.
Actually, Julian Jones from Germantown is on my staff now. He's my offensive coordinator.
How about that?
You know what I mean? So games like this, I mean, it brings you close, man. And like I said, man, dudes love to compete.
Right.
And this is a game full of dudes. You know what I mean? So, man, it's an amazing time, and we had a blast.
Tell us a little bit of how's this season going for you at Fairleigh.
Things are going really well at Fairleigh, man. We're healthy, and we're on the back end push for everything. Obviously, we got some good players there. We're senior heavy. Terry Wilkins is doing a great job leading us. Jalen Harris on the defense. He has 6 picks, so that's in the tops of the city. You know what I mean? He's doing a good job. And then we have our young bucks stepping up. Cody Jones, a sophomore, received an offer from UT Knox last week. You know what I mean? And he had a big game last night. He went for 3 touchdowns. So, man, I think we're doing well. We're on schedule. You know what I mean? Obviously, we have some things to clean up as we head into the playoffs.
So here's your staff. I'm not sure if you got the paper in front of you. Go ahead and tell everybody who's on your staff and how you guys are going to come together to try to win this All-Star game.
Oh, indeed. So we have some great coaches, man. Coach Lowe at FACS, man, he's doing a great job. What about Coach Thomas at Houston? You know what I mean? They're undefeated.
Strong.
I'm telling you, man.
They're rolling.
Yeah. So those 2 guys are definitely huge, you know. And Coach Jones at Kingsbury, a great friend of mine, as well as Coach Williams at Overton. And then my guy, Marlon Walls, that's another guy I played against in the Music City Bowl when North Carolina played Tennessee.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah. So
it's like a Music City Bowl reunion.
I'm telling you, right?
You know what's really great, Gene, is that we have so many guys that starred in prep ball in the Memphis area, went to school all over the place, and have come back and are in coaching.
Come back. So that's a huge part of my deal, man. I wanted to make sure that I got back to Memphis every chance I got to coach and give these guys a chance to make it out of the city. I think a lot of our guys don't know the opportunity that they have at hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? A free college scholarship.
Yeah.
You get out of school with no student loans.
Yeah.
I wanted to come back and let these young men know, man, you have a chance with the game I love. You know what I mean? So it's a great opportunity for all these guys, man, and I'm enjoying it. Like you said, guys who played in this game, who play local, go off and come back and coach this game.
So if I'm not mistaken, you already won up on Coach Harris for the year. Like, you already beat them, right?
Right.
so now you get to get real bragging rights in this one.
Well, I'm going to have to play them again in the playoffs, so I'm not even going to speak on it.
You might go 3-0 against them.
I'm not going to speak on it.
Coach Gene Robinson joining us, the head coach of Fairleigh. He'll coach the Red Team in the 18th annual AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star football game. That's coming up on December 14th. He started the University of North Carolina after a great prep career at Whitehaven. Before we let you go, and the point you just made about the scholarships, and we know that the bulk of college athletes, that's what they're good for. They're looking for an education. They're looking to get that free ride, and if they play pro sports, great. Most of them won't. So you get that education for what you're going to do later in life. What do you think now about the new rule that's just been enacted in California, the Fair Pay for Play Act, which now other states look like they want to get involved in this thing, and who knows what road the NCAA is going to go down. As a former player at the collegiate level, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I definitely think players should be compensated for their play. However, I'm not sure how it looks. To me, it's something like it's put in a trust fund, and after you graduate, I think that's something you can come back and get your hands on, because I definitely think as a player you should capitalize off when you're hot. There's guys in college football who are killing college football but will never play a down in the NFL. And I think those guys who are making the school millions of dollars, I think they should capitalize. If that's a trust fund, you graduate and then you get your hands on it, you know what I mean? Because,
right.
Man, that's a hard fall down from being at the top. Then you in the real world and you just, what am I to do now? So I definitely think the players should be compensated, but I think it should be in a trust fund type of deal where they touch it once they graduate or do things, you know what I mean, to get that money.
Well, Gene, we wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much. Congratulations on getting the gig for the All-Star game and continued success with Fairleigh.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
That's Gene Robinson, head coach of the Red Team. We will hopefully in just a few moments speak to his counterpart, his adversary, who will be coaching up the Blue, and that's Preston Harris from Douglas High School. And again, Gene, one of those success stories from the local area, starring in the prep world and then moving on and having a really good career collegiately, and now back and coaching. So many of these coaches that are around this.
There's a lot of former University of Memphis guys who are coaching. I mean,
and Tennessee. We were talking about Marlon Walls. Cedric Wilson, remember, we were talking about the receiver now with the Cowboys, but his dad, who started Tennessee and was part of that national championship team, is a coach as well. And is he a coach at Melrose?
He is.
Harold, where's Ced the coach at? Cedric Wilson. Hey, Coach.
Melrose.
He's at Melrose. We're now joined by Preston Harris. He's the coach at Douglas High School. Will be coaching up the Blue Team in the All-Star game coming up on the 14th. Coach, how are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
Doing fantastic. Congratulations on the gig. You get to try to get one back on Gene after he got one on you during the regular season.
Oh, man, he's gotten me over the last 3 years. So hopefully the tide will change with this All-Star game.
Well, for you, what kind of honor is this to get an opportunity to coach in this game?
Oh, man, it's a fantastic honor. You know, they do a really good job with promoting this game, and not only that, it features some of the top high school kids, student athletes in the city, as well as coaches. So it's a phenomenal opportunity for me to even be the guy to head the Blue Team. I'm looking forward to the opportunity. I'm looking forward to competing as well.
How excited do you think your kids are, and maybe the kids in general in this area, if they get that call and they are invited to play in this?
Oh, man, they'll be very excited. You know, I know my student athletes at Douglas, they were excited that when I got the nomination to be the head coach, they were thrilled. So I think they'll be motivated to do it. I think that this, like I said, for them to go out one more time.
Right.
And not only do it just one more time, but do it on a national stage, I think that'll be a phenomenal opportunity for those.
So you've been an assistant in the game for a few years. So what did you learn from your assistant coaching years that you can apply to now moving up to that head coach spot?
Well, as being an assistant, of course, you got to stay in your lane, do what you're supposed to help out. But as a head coach, I just know that I'm going to come out there on fire all that week. I'm going to give it everything I got, like I said. And then, too, this gives us opportunity to form bonds with other student athletes from other programs as long as other coaches as well.
Are you good at delegating? Because that's what you get to do with your other coaches.
Oh,
you
man.
do this, you do that, I'll be over here.
Of course. I do it. I do it at Douglas High. I'm going to be honest with you. I have some of the best assistant coaches at Douglas, so I do the same thing as well. So, yes, I am.
Here is your list. So why don't you tell everybody here listening to the program who's your coaching staff on that blue team?
First up, we have Coach Stewart, he's the head coach at Briarcrest High School. He's doing a phenomenal job.
Really good.
Heck of a year.
And we've been together the last couple of years. I have a new addition, Terrence Ayers, which is at Kip Collegiate School. Young, energetic coach. He's very on fire. He actually volunteered in the game last year. I have Lenora Staples with me and Coach Staples. Not only are we Austin P grads and alumnus, but we actually coached together previously at Kingsbury High. Oh. So we know each other very well. He knows what I want. We also have a new addition with Mike Mosby, good up-and-coming young coach at Oak Haven High School. He done a phenomenal job at Chickasaw with the middle school programs. And we have an old-timer, Larry Franklin, which I like the guy, love him very well. I think he's going to come out there on fire this week too.
Tell us a little bit quickly about the season at Douglas and some of your top players over there at Douglas.
This season has been up and down. We've been in every game. Of course, when you're dealing with student athletes, we have a young team. The bulk of my team is in 10th graders. I have a phenomenal sophomore class. I only graduate 7 this year, and then next year is going to be 4. So
holy cow!
So we have a phenomenal class. So we've been in every game this year. Some of the games haven't turned out our way, but right now we're still in striking distance to be able to do what we need to do to get to postseason play. Of course, our guy Eric Davis, he's our do-it-all guy, smallish in stature but big on the field. He's our leader on offense. On defense, I have Gabriel Brittman. He's our bell cow. When we call on to make a play for it, he does it. Not only that, we get a good lift back. I get one of my seniors back, Caleb Brown. He broke his ankle back in July, right after the dead period. So now he's coming back full strength. So the kids, they were all geared up to know that he's coming back. So I think that we should be clicking right around this time. We get our full team back. That was the only major injury that we had. So, but, our kids, like I said, they've been responding. They've been there every day. They're putting forth the effort. Like I said, it hadn't been, turned out like we wanted to. But for the most part, we're right in striking distance.
All right, Coach.
11 juniors and seniors. That's amazing.
Yeah, but think about that senior class 2 years from now. He's Preston Harris. He's the head coach at Douglas High School. He's also coaching up the blue team in the 18th annual AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game. Coach, thank you so much and congratulations.
Man, thank you for having me.
Coach Harris joining us here at the Crown Plaza East Hotel. We need to take a break. We'll come back with Hour 3. That will include Sigmund Bloom right off the top from footballguys.com. We'll answer all your fantasy football questions. You can jump on the phone lines right now. First Bank phone lines are open at 360-8255. Hit us up on the text line. That's the First Bank text line at 67129. Sigmund Bloom next as we talk fantasy football. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Well, I know everybody in Memphis knows that Sunrise on Jefferson offers the best breakfast in Memphis. But what you might not know
I made this a really short break since we were late. Sigmund's already on the phone.
A mouth-watering bacon cheeseburger.
So I'll make up those commercials in another break.
Grilled chicken sandwich, really short. Also with
Sounds
bacon.
Good.
The turkey sandwich with, you guessed it, bacon. And, of course, the BLT, because sometimes bacon just has to be the star. Come to Sunrise for a delicious lunch, now with extra added bacon goodness. Bacon and Sunrise, made for each other.
shoot for free at the newest and largest gun range in the Mid-South. Join Sports 56 Middays this Friday on the road at Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road, formerly Range USA in Bartlett. Pick up a free range pass and win a pair of Memphis First Tulane tickets. Top Gun, the largest indoor range in the Mid-South with over 22,000 square feet of fun and great barbecue at Ferguson's Barbecue. Carry permit classes from $75. Unlimited memberships as low as $29 a month. Top Gun, the only range in town where you can rent fully automatic weapons and shoot them on site. That's this Friday at Top Gun in Bartlett. Come shoot with us.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody, to Sports 56 Middays on this Hump Day, Wednesday, October 16th, 2019 edition of the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy. We are broadcasting live today from the Crowne Plaza East Hotel. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon. Austin Eldridge back in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. And, of course, Sports 56 Middays is delivered every single day by our title and presenting sponsor, the spectacular people at the FedEx Corporation. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. We need you to jump on the phone lines right now, 360-8255, First Bank phone lines, First Bank text line, 67129. If you had any fantasy football questions, the guy to answer them is coming up. It's Sigmund Bloom.
Time to get all your fantasy football questions answered. Joining Greg and Eli is fantasy football expert Sigmund Bloom of FootballGuys.com. Get your questions in by calling 360-8255 or texting 67129. Here are Greg, Eli, and Sigmund.
He is the man with the plan. He's Sigmund Bloom, FootballGuys.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Sigmund Bloom. Sig, how are you?
Good. You know, we're getting to that war of attrition part of the NFL season and the fantasy season, watching the injury reports more closely. And again, even if your team is 1-5 right now, you're fine. You're in it. I think there's a lot of 2 and 4 teams in the NFL feeling like, hey, they're still in it. So fantasy football and the NFL staying close to each other and rewarding perseverance.
It seems like the attrition time's getting earlier and earlier every season.
Yeah. Maybe it's because there's no preseason. Also, the amount of bad football we saw in September. Also, how we feel like we still don't have a handle on some of these teams.
Right.
You wonder if teams not using the preseason as a chance to knock the rust off and really get the adrenaline flowing again is causing these things to happen.
Sigmund, I've got some bye week issues. One for a second quarterback. Any value in picking up Ryan Tannehill?
Sure. I mean, it can't be worse than Marcus Mariota. I mean, I think what we're really looking at here is Corey Davis, even A.J. Brown, Delaney Walker. Delaney Walker maybe inflating Ryan Tannehill's quality some by calling him an elite quarterback, but we know he's going to let it rip. He's going to drop back. He's going to have the play in his mind, and he's going to take chances downfield in a way that Mariota didn't. So, I would say that this week against the Chargers, we didn't see the Steelers really test the Chargers that much, but I think the Chargers aren't a scary defense right now. And depending on what else is out there, I like Gardner Minshew this week against Cincinnati. They're without their starting corners. I like Daniel Jones against Arizona. That's going to be a high-scoring game. So if they're out there, I might rate them above Tannehill, but Tannehill could have some value, especially for his receivers.
Who is Daniel Jones going to have this week? Is Sterling Shepard going to be healthy? Evan Ingram?
Right.
What are his weapons going to be?
Good question. Ingram is back to practicing in full, and of course we know tight ends have their biggest game of the season against Arizona. Saquon Barkley is back to practicing in full. I think we're going to see him this week. I'm not sure we're going to see Sterling Shepard. It was his second concussion of the season. He was limited in practice today. I would expect the team to be very cautious. And keep an eye on Darius Slayton, who's the deep threat and has some good chemistry with Jones because they were working together as rookies from day one. So he could be someone on the waiver wire that could help you this week.
You talk about the Chargers, who had a disappointing performance again last week. So now that we've seen a couple of weeks, what do we make of the backfield situation?
Well, it's back to the way it was last year. Say something close to a 65-35 split in favor of Melvin Gordon. But their offensive line is in shambles right now. We know that Tennessee is going to be able to get some penetration inside. Tennessee's going to put some pressure on Phillip Rivers. So I think they're going to remain a pass-first offense. And with Hunter Henry back, the PPR appeal of Eckler and Gordon is taking a hit now. Mike Williams is also playing well. So I think this is a pass-first offense. And Allen and Mike Williams and Hunter Henry are all in line before Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler right now. Gordon's more of a running back 2 flex. Austin Eckler kind of a what-the-heck flex at this point because the Chargers' offensive line is keeping them from functioning well on offense.
Well, we didn't think Hunter Henry was even going to maybe play this past week, and all he does is go for 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns.
And you could see the timing with he and Rivers was great. He was owning the middle of the field. I'm not sure if Jayon Brown's going to play this week for the Titans. That could leave some space in the middle of the field. So Hunter Henry could stay hot this weekend. If
you've got questions for Sigmund Bloom, you can get those in. You can call in 360-8255 on the First Bank phone line. You can text him in to the First Bank text line at 67129. Our first question, this is kind of, and they even throw in the LOL in here, but I guess theoretically, after the last week, you have to ask this question, Mahomes or Cousins?
Right. Look, Mahomes is banged up. He's facing a Denver defense tomorrow night that handled him pretty well last year. Cousins is still facing a tough Detroit secondary. I think both Detroit and Minnesota will encourage each other to go into a shell on offense in this game. So I'm not going with Kirk Cousins, certainly not over Mahomes, and I think that he could slow down on this one. I expect this to be a defensive battle, and even with Mahomes ailing a little bit, facing a defense that has given him problems, Mahomes is the answer.
Pick 2 out of Tyrell Williams, Mohamed Sanu, Cole Beasley, Deshaun Jackson.
I don't know if Jackson's going to be back this week. I expect them to take it slow with him. It's a Sunday night game. As of right now, I would project him being out. Sanu's got to be in. I would expect the Atlanta Rams game to be the highest scoring game of the weekend. I'm not sure if Tyrell Williams is healthy yet. Green Bay has some good corners. So almost by default, you're going to go with Sanu and Beasley here. But Beasley's facing Miami. It gives them a chance to have a better than average game.
I don't really understand this. I guess I think they need 2 running backs and a flex out of these guys. Okay. Mixon, Breida, Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams.
So I would say both Green Bay running backs are good plays at this point, and I would expect something closer to a 50-50 split, but with Aaron Jones getting the goal line carries to give him the slight edge. And then if you're looking at a flex between Breida and Mixon, San Francisco's facing Washington. I would expect that to be a game where San Francisco's going to establish the run, probably run the ball 40 times between Tevin Coleman and Matt Breida, and even Raheem Mostert as they are nursing a lead. That team's red hot right now. Cincinnati, I'm not sure we can trust anybody from Cincinnati right now, even with Jalen Ramsey traded from Jacksonville's defense. So I'd put Mixon on the bench.
Yeah, Mixon has been a bit disappointing, to say the least, for my team. John Brown, Damian Williams, or even hold on, I missed the first part of this. My strong roster may get squeezed with bye weeks coming up. Which one of these should I drop as I need to make bye week pickups? Eckler, Terry McLaurin, which you're not going to drop him, John Brown, Damian Williams, or even A.J. Green. All those guys are on my bench, not regular starters. Man, I don't know how McLaurin's not a regular starter for you.
Yeah, he should be. Damian Williams is probably the guy here. I think he's got too small of a role week to week. He's still involved in the passing game. But I think the Chiefs can see that LaShawn McCoy is a better runner inside. A.J. Green, we're hoping, is back in a few weeks. I won't talk anybody out of dropping A.J. Green at this point, but I don't feel like Damian Williams is compelling enough to keep over him.
Good talking to Sigmund Bloom from footballguys.com. If you've got fantasy football questions, you could call in and talk to him directly at 360-8255. You could text those questions in at 67129, or you could send them via Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. We'll get those as well.
All right, we got a text question for you. 2 questions here, Sig. Should I play Buffalo's defense against Miami or the 49ers defense against Washington? And also, should I play DK Metcalf or Marvin Jones?
Ooh, Buffalo's got to be in. I mean, San Francisco's going to be a good play, too, but Buffalo at home, rested against Miami. Between DK Metcalf and Marvin Jones, I like Metcalf's matchup. Will Dissly's out for the year with an Achilles. So those red zone targets that were going to Dissly, it just makes sense they would go to Metcalf. He's continuing to come on. Jones has a little tougher matchup against those Minnesota corners. So I'd go with Metcalf against Baltimore.
Delaney, Walker, or Hawkinson this week and going forward?
I'd go with Walker here. Again, if Walker is the one talking up Brian Tannehill, doesn't that give you some sense that Tannehill is going to be looking for him? Hawkinson's getting a lot of opportunity to score touchdowns. He's just not converting them right now. I think Walker is going to bounce back with Tannehill.
If Kamara and or Gurley are out Sunday, rank these 3 flex options in PPR: Latavius Murray, Robbie Anderson, Darrell Henderson.
I would go in that order. Murray looked great last week, and I think whether or not Kamara plays, he should get more work this week against Chicago. Anderson, it's just because it's New England. Anderson's going to be an outstanding play down the stretch. If you look at the Jets' schedule, it's really easy against the pass, and there's still a chance that he could break through against New England this weekend, Monday night, actually. Henderson would be third, although I do hope the Rams give Henderson more work, whether or not Gurley plays, because you could see that he was clearly their fastest running back last week.
Pick 2 out of Carlos Hyde, Joe Mixon, Sony Michel, A.J. Green, half-point PPR.
Yeah, and again, I don't expect A.J. Green to be back this weekend, maybe in the next few weeks. I think you got to go with Hyde and Michelle here. Houston's got something good going with the running game, feeding Carlos Hyde. They're facing Indianapolis. It should be a great game. And with Michelle, even though he's not converting the goal line touches, he's still getting a ton of touches. New England should beat him against the Jets on Monday night.
This week, PPR, Frank Gore at home against Miami, Melvin Gordon on the road at Tennessee.
I want to say Gore because of the matchup, because of the chances for a touchdown. I still think that Melvin Gordon's going to get his 15 to 18 touches. I'm not sure how much Devin Singletary is going to cut into Frank Gore's workload. It gives me hesitation. I would probably go with Melvin Gordon, but something tells me Frank Gore might be the right answer.
Who is the worst of these 4 backs this week in PPR? Kamara, Carson, Breida, or Ingram?
If Alvin Kamara is playing, I think you got to play him over Matt Breida, just because Breida is not getting the goal line touches. It's Tevin Coleman. So if Kamara's not playing, that makes it a little easier. So I would say with Kamara in, Breida is the worst. But I have a feeling we're not going to see Kamara this weekend. This team is playing with house money, going 4-0 with Teddy Bridgewater as a starter. Drew Brees will be back in a few weeks. Let's get Kamara healthy for the stretch run.
Rest of the year PPR, how would you rank a healthy Kirk, Sutton, and Chark?
Chark's got to be first. I mean, he's playing lights out right now. I would say Sutton second, and I would expect we may see Emmanuel Sanders traded, which would only help Sutton. Kirk's third, but a close third because Kyler Murray's really starting to come on, and Kirk gets a lot of volume in that offense.
Where do you put Kyler Murray right now amongst your kind of quarterbacks rankings?
I've got top 6 or 7. I'd rather have Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson. So maybe even top 5. Maybe Murray would slot in. Matt Ryan is probably in there just because Atlanta's defense is so bad. So around 6-7, 5-6-7. And I think if you look at the schedule for Arizona, things are going to really start to open up for him. It's easy to forget that he faced some pretty tough defenses like Detroit and Carolina to open, and he is going to get New Orleans and San Francisco the next 2 weeks after this matchup, but then and San Francisco in Week 11. But Tampa, the Rams, Cleveland, Seattle, these are all offenses I think Kyler Murray can move the ball against.
Bill has dialed in, 360-8255. Bill, you're on with Sigmund Bloom.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hey, Bill.
One question and a half, maybe. Flex Golden Tate or Weller from Oakland tight end. And then is Singletary worth keeping for the rest of the season? You think with him coming back, are they going to use him a lot more in perspective with Gore on there as well?
Right. No, Singletary I think you have to hold on to, Bill. We got to remember, Singletary had, five carries for 53 and a touchdown, 4 for 70, plus he had 5 catches in his first 2 games. Buffalo's going to be setting him up for work. I really like Singletary as somebody to help you win your league in the second half of the year. I'd go with Golden Tate over Waller this week just because it flexed because you're facing the Arizona defense. Patrick Peterson's back, but I don't think Peterson's going to follow Golden Tate into the slot. Waller might have a few targets taken away by the emergence of rookie Foster Moreau, so 2 tight end sets for Oakland. He might not be getting all the tight end targets.
Somebody says, I have Gurley and Kamara. You think there's a chance they both play this weekend, or would you start shopping trades?
Well, I don't know what you can get in a trade for Gurley. I certainly might try to cash in Gurley on name brand value because last year what we saw that he missed a game no matter what the Rams said. We didn't know whether he was going to play, and we didn't know how he was going to look when he did play. So he's a big unknown right now. Kamara, I expect the Saints to manage his touch as well. And then when Breeze is back, and again, looking ahead to the schedule, and I encourage folks to look at the schedule when you're valuing players, because this year's been a little different than most years where we can really isolate the bad teams and bad defenses and the good teams and good defenses. And when we look ahead on New Orleans' schedule, they get Arizona next week, Atlanta, Tampa, Atlanta again after the bye. So I would expect that offense to start to click when Drew Brees is back, and I would want to have Kamara.
Atlanta's defense is just awful. I mean, everybody just goes off.
You know, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet for fantasy football.
Gordon, Ingram, Henry, or Gore?
If it's just one, it's Ingram. I mean, he's been scoring most weeks. Baltimore's running game is looking really good. If you have to go with the second one, I'd say Henry, just because the Chargers' run defense has been pretty weak, and we know Tennessee's going to feed him.
Cousins or Rodgers?
I'll probably go with Aaron Rodgers, even though Alan Lazard, I guess, could be his number one receiver. This week we'll see about Valdez-Scantling and Geronimo Allison. I just think that Minnesota and Detroit, they're going to play a 13-10 kind of game. It's going to come down to, a punt return or a turnover. Both of these teams are going to be very conservative.
I'm glad you brought up the name. What do you think about Lazard if somebody out there needs a receiver for bye week and stuff like that?
Yeah. Plug him right in from the waiver wire right into your lineup because Aaron Rodgers lobbied for him to get in the game, immediately started targeting him. He was the best receiver on the field for them. I don't think that necessarily will change until Devontae Adams is back, and I wouldn't expect Adams to be back this week.
Hey, Sid, question for you. With Gurley, and again, we don't know how bad it is, but it is the start of what we saw last year. They're not going to see a lot of Gurley on the field. And in that case, they have Malcolm Brown, but they also have Darrell Henderson. And I saw with Brown, 11 carries, 40 yards. It was okay. But Darrell Henderson, when he came in, boy, he looked good. He carried 6 times for 39 yards, 6.5 yards a pop. Is this something that could be in the back of minds for people, or should be in the back of minds for people, that if Gurley's injury is worse than what is thought, maybe Henderson down the road?
I think that's a really good call. And what we're counting on here is rational coaching. What we're hoping is that the Rams see what we saw, which is Darrell Henderson's burst jumped off the screen, and it's just something that you want to use to try to win games. Now, Malcolm Brown started out really hot in this game. His first 4 carries looked like he was going to have a 100-yard day. And then the Rams' whole offense got bogged down against San Francisco. As we talked about, Atlanta is there a speed bump right now. So it's possible that both Brown and Henderson could be good plays this weekend. And Henderson on that fast track down in the Dome in Atlanta could break that 60 or 70-yard play. He almost did it last week. That changes everything. So I think you're right, Greg, to consider this Rams backfield very fluid going forward.
Yeah, that longer run that Henderson had last week was explosive when he turned that corner. Like he had that other gear that we've seen here at Memphis. PPR, Gallup or Woods?
I'll go with Gallup here. I don't know if Amari Cooper is going to play. Woods has a good matchup against Atlanta, but Gallup has a great matchup against Philadelphia. We saw what it did for Stephon Diggs. So I like Gallup. And even if Amari Cooper plays, he's in pain, he might not be as effective. maybe you use him more as a decoy and Gallup as the number one receiver on Sunday night.
Sanu or Ridley?
I'll go with Ridley here because with Jalen, I would expect Jalen Ramsey to lock up Julio Jones. So even though they like Troy Hill, the Rams like their new number 2 corner. I think Ridley is going to have advantages there. This is going to be a high-scoring game too, and Sanu is maybe a little bit of a safer play, but Ridley has that big play upside.
Who would you rather have on your bench, half point per reception, McCole Hardman or Chase Edmonds?
Probably Edmonds, just because with David Johnson, once we hear back issues, you never know when that's going to come back up. This is going to be a highly productive offense. Edmonds is doing good with limited touches. If he could get 15 or 18 touches a game in a scenario, he could be a league winner.
Plus, with Tyreek Hill back now, it's just such a crowded receiver group now with the Chiefs.
It is. I would keep Hardman over Pringle or Demarcus Robinson. And one thing I do like for Hardman is with Hill back out there, the safety is not going to be looking Hardman's way, so those big plays. He could actually help Hardman overall, but I do think you're right that it'll be tough week to week to predict what he'll do.
Pick one, PPR, Eckler, Royce Freeman, or pick up Carlos Hyde?
I would probably say Eckler just because he's been productive with Melvin Gordon in the lineup last year, although this isn't as good of an offense. With Freeman, Hyde, I just think they have limited upsides in non-PPR leagues. Freeman should be a good play this week, though, as the last few teams have shown you want to keep away, run the ball, keep the Kansas City defense on the field. So Freeman could be a good play this week, but I like Eckler to have the most potential over the course of the rest of the season.
And then one final one here, Lazard over Ridley, ?
No. Ridley, you still have to play Ridley here with the productivity of that passing game, and the Rams' pass defense has been pretty rough. Even with Jalen Ramsey, there's still some weaknesses there.
He is Sigmund Bloom from footballguys.com. He's the best. The website is the best. We always appreciate it, Sigmund. Thank you very much. I'm glad you didn't even say anything about the Cowboys game last week. We got through it without that. Nope. I appreciate that as well, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Appreciate it. Look forward to it.
Thanks, Sig.
Sigmund Bloom, footballguys.com.
So on Friday, we will be on location at Top Gun, and that's the old...
Tom Cruise will be there. It's going to be amazing.
What's the other guy's name? Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer will be there. It's the old, USA?
Range USA.
Range USA. And we'll be giving away tickets for the Tigers game against Tulane on Saturday. But also on the program on Friday, we're going to have Tim Donaghy on. And Tim Donaghy, for those of you who know the story, some may not, but you should. Tim Donaghy is the former NBA referee, disgraced, and why? Well, he did some bad things, right? He certainly paid for it by going to jail, by betting on basketball, but also fixing games in his favor, or at least what he was trying to do. And he is now he's written a book, but also there's a movie called Inside Game that's going to be opening nationally on Friday, November 1st, about the Tim Donaghy story, and he's going to join us on the show on Friday at 11:25. So I'm looking forward to having him on.
This hour of the program is brought to you by 34 North Cocktails. They've got two of those for you that are outstanding. If you're a bourbon drinker, you like the old fashions, well, check out the Barrel Thief from 34 North Cocktails. Tastes just like an old fashioned, but it comes out of a 12-ounce can. Absolutely delicious, already made for you, very convenient for any outings like tailgates or things like that you've got coming up. You could certainly enjoy those. Plus, they've got a vodka drink for you vodka lovers as well. The Sneaky Pucker, that's their vodka drink. Tastes a lot like lemonade. It's made with the premium vodka, lemonade, simple syrup, and lavender. The vodka cocktail, the Sneaky Pucker, is 12.5% alcohol. The Barrel Thief is 15% alcohol. That's available at liquor stores around the city of Memphis. You can check them out. Again, 34 North Cocktails is what they're called. There's the Barrel Thief and the Sneaky Pucker. 4-packs. You can find them in 4-packs around the area. So for that next tailgate or party or whatever you've got going on, check them out. 34 North Cocktails, the Barrel Thief, and Sneaky Pucker.
All right, when we come back, our final half hour of the program today, we got open phone lines. First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. If you want to talk baseball playoffs, the Cardinals getting swept by the Nationals. Again, if you have not heard, Yankees-Astros Game 4 will not happen tonight because of bad weather in New York. It has been rescheduled for tomorrow, but we could talk about that. The NFL, the big trade from the Jaguars dealing Jalen Ramsey to the Rams for multiple first-round picks. We can discuss that as well. Whatever's on your mind, this is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
For the best lineup of quality, fuel-efficient, and fun-to-drive vehicles, get to Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan. Over 1,000 new certified and pre-owned vehicles in one great location. Catch the savings now during our huge model year-end sales event. Score an amazing deal at Wolf Chase Honda and Wolf Chase Nissan and get to the game in style at Germantown Road and Highway 64. Family owned since 1981.
It's car buying time now during Wolf Chase Nissan's Summer Savings Event. More cars, better offers, and bigger savings than ever before. Model year-end savings on every new 2019 Nissan in stock. Financing as low as 0% up to 60 months on select models for qualified buyers with approved credit through NMAC. Hurry in for exciting summer savings. And remember, if your car says Wolf Chase Nissan, you've got the best deal. WolfChaseNissan.com.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. It's an exciting time to be a Memphis Tiger fan, and we at Five Ash Roofing have decided to share our excitement. We are proud members of the Tigers home team, which means we sponsor the Tigers athletic department, and we're also season ticket holders to both the football and basketball programs. We will be giving away 2 and sometimes 4 tickets to most of the games this coming year. To have a chance at winning the tickets, find our Facebook page, like, and share our post. The more you share, the more chances you have to win. We also want to give away some tickets to those who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to go. So you can go to memphisroofer.com or 5ash.com and send us a note why you or someone you know should get the tickets. And as always, 5 Ash Roofing is fair, honest, and ethical. We're experts in all forms of roofing for both residential and commercial buildings. 5 Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you've always thought, hey, I'm pretty good in Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing. Did you learn your ABCs when you were a kid? Well, as a grown-up, it's time to learn your CBDs, as in CBD edibles, oil tincture, pain cream, and beauty products. All found at Your CBD Store, with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, North Germantown Parkway, and Goodman Road East. You'll find all natural, organic, and non-GMO products. Need to learn more? Your CBD Store has a knowledgeable and friendly staff that can answer questions, help with choices, and put you at ease about your CBDs. Your CBD Store, with 3 locations, Poplar Avenue, Cordova, and South Haven. Your CBD Store, making it as easy for you as ABC CBD.
This is Jason Mott. Join me November 9th downtown at the Column for our 8th annual Jason Mott Foundation Cornhole Challenge. Doors open at 6. For tickets and more information, click the events tab at jasonmottfoundation.org. Looking forward to seeing you out there, and let's strike out cancer.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx.
Here once again,
our great Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Mics are hot.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports 56 Middays live today from the Crown Plaza East Hotel. It's the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon. We had both the coaches on earlier in the show. Gene Robinson of Fairleigh High School will coach the red team, and Preston Harris from Douglas High School who will coach the blue team. Also, Joe Theismann, Jerry Palm, Sigmund Bloom was just with us. If you missed any of our interviews, you can always check out the Sports 56 Middays podcast or any of the other shows and the featured audio section as well on the website, sports56whbq.com. Eli, this is crazy. Leanne Walker, you probably never heard of her, but she's a professional women's golfer, formerly of the LPGA Tour and now with the Senior LPGA Tour. So she went out and played an event in French Lick, Indiana, the home of one Larry Bird. She shot 85 and 74. Not great. However, she had to be penalized, and she was penalized very harshly. They added 16 strokes to her, giving her scores of 127 and 90, both rounds. Why? She said she was unaware of the new rule that caddies no longer can stand behind players as they putt unless a player starts the stance over. She didn't realize this until midway through her second round on Tuesday. Then she had to add a 2-shot penalty for every time she did it. So it goes in the books as a 127 in the first round and a 90 in the second round. And that first round included a birdie on the final hole. The old 127.
That's why you got to know the rules.
My gosh. How about that? 127.
If you're going to go out there and play competitive golf, you better know the rules.
If you haven't heard the news from this morning, Joe Madden has reached the deal to become the new Angels skipper. And I am not shocked at that one. That was certainly rumored right off the bat as soon as he was let go by the Cubs.
Well, it's going home. I mean, it's the organization he was with for many years. He was a bench coach there when they won the World Championship. He is that's an opportunity to kind of go back home for him. So that is no surprise whatsoever. And it's basically they made that move in order to go get Joe Madden.
Yeah, they got rid of Brad Ausmus after one season. Granted, they were 72 and 90, but one season they let him go because they had an opportunity to get Joe Madden, and they got him. And Joe Madden's 65 years of age. Can he turn around that Angels team? You think about the talent that Angels team has had, and they've been underachievers. They always seem to be underachievers. And when you have the best player in baseball, in Mike Trout, when you have
well, that's the thing. I mean, they've
Ohtani.
They've got the best player in baseball, but the rest of the team, they just haven't done a good job in the front office of putting the guys around Mike Trout. I mean, that's one player in baseball. It's great to have one great player, but that guy only gets 4 at-bats a game. There's only so much a guy like Mike Trout can do.
No, you're right, but they went out and they got Shohei Ohtani from Japan, and he has had some injury issues, but next year he will return to the mound to go along with being a DH or whatever they want to play him in the field when he's not pitching, but a guy that certainly has helped them with his bat. They signed Albert Pujols to that huge contract after he starred in St. Louis, so they put their money. They tried to put their money out there. Who is it? Artie Moreno is the owner of the Angels.
I think believe that's correct.
He has spent a lot of money. I
they spent. There's one thing of spending money and spending it wisely. They just haven't
money on big names.
Pitching staff, and they just have not put a good roster around Mike Trout through the years.
And of course, the news that came down the other day about Tyler Skaggs was very, very alarming. Tyler Skaggs, the pitcher who passed away, was found in his hotel room, and then they determined after an autopsy that it was from opioid and drug use. Then they came out with the story the other day where it was admitted by a member of it was a PR department with the Angels.
Yes.
He had supplied him with the opioids, but he'd also been taking drugs with Tyler Skaggs, but also said there are 5 or 6 other guys on the team that he has supplied and maybe done drugs with. And that's something that Joe Madden's going to have to walk into as soon as he takes over as the skipper and looking into that roster, and if he has to overhaul it. But Joe Madden, the new skipper of the Angels. So now you have the Cubs, the Mets, the Phillies, the Padres, the Pirates, I believe, Royals. Is that it? A lot of openings still remain.
Yeah, because the Angels are the only one that's actually hired somebody, right?
Right. And Yost is done, and Hurdle's done, and San Diego fired their coach before the season ended, and then Philly later with Gabe Kapler, the Mets with Mickey Callaway gone. So the names that keep
Did you say the Giants?
No, I did not. They got to replace Bruce Bochy, who retired. And of course, David Ross, without the experience, but a beloved Cubs figure, is said to be the leading candidate to take over in Chicago. But you have other names that have surfaced that are the names you would expect, veteran guys that have been there, done that, whether it be Mike Scioscia, whether it be Buck Showalter. Even Dusty Baker's name popped up for the Phillies. But what young up-and-comers are out there that maybe these teams will look at? I know the Phillies won't look at an up-and-comer. I don't think the Mets will. I don't think maybe some of the other clubs. But is there a guy like a Mike Schilt? Is there an organization guy who paid his dues, moved up the ranks, and is ready to take over? I don't know enough about each individual organization.
People don't know baseball coaches. Like they know the manager. Generally, people don't know the bench coaches for any teams. They certainly don't know the minor league managers. So we don't know, like in other sports, we know who the coordinators are, or in the NBA, the hot assistant coaches.
Right.
In baseball, we don't know that. The general fan does not know who those guys are who are looked at around baseball as kind of the next wave of managers. And the next wave of managers in baseball has become, in a lot of ways, guys with no experience. Just find a guy who's done playing and throw him into a manager's role. That's the way some teams are going with it. They'd rather go that way because of the analytics. They don't want the old-timers because the old-timers are less willing to use the analytics and everything that the front office wants to use to. So they're all looking for the new wave guys who want to accept analytics and use analytics way more than a Dusty Baker is going to want to use analytics.
Well, there's a lot of former managers that are on staffs, but these are guys where I don't believe that they'll get another opportunity. Some have had multiple opportunities. For example, Ron Washington, who is with the Braves, or a Don Wakamatsu, I think, is with the Rangers. These guys have been skippers other places. I'm not talking about those guys. And I think you're right. I'm talking about these up-and-comers that not a lot of people have heard of. They have within the organization, but as fans, we certainly haven't. But you also have, again, the bigger names, guys that weren't in coaching this past year, or for the last couple of years, whatever the case may be, but they're the bigger names, and they're the guys that they are the. I would equate these guys to like the Biden and the Sanders and the Warren, like the bigger names of all the Democratic candidates for president. These are the bigger names: Showalter, Girardi, Baker. Of course, Madden became available because the Cubs fired him. But there's a lot of other people that we don't know about. So we'll see what happens there.
I don't see why I cannot see hiring Dusty Baker at this point.
Neither do I.
Team, I don't see hiring Buck Showalter at this point.
See, I do.
But there's a good chance he'll end up getting a job. I think that the tendency for a lot of these clubs is they would rather get the former player, probably recent player, who's kind of played in the era of analytics.
That's what the Phillies did.
Guy, and then put an experienced bench coach, or whether it's a former manager or whatever, but an experienced guy on the bench with him to manage the other stuff. The guy who's done it all and knows a little bit, can help him kind of through the game and all that stuff, but have the guy who's very accepting to analytics be the guy who's in charge of that veteran guy who probably doesn't like the analytics as much.
Well, that's what we're seeing a little bit in basketball, which I'll segue into here in a second. But the Phillies, tried that with Kapler, and then they brought in Charlie Manuel, who's a former manager, and it didn't work out. I think what you have to do is get a mixture of a player's coach, but a coach that still has some old skills, some old school skills, yet will look at the analytics. And I think Buck Showalter is a perfect example of that. An older manager, he's been through it before, he knows modern baseball, he deals with players pretty well, but also can put down the the iron fist when he has to. So that's a kind of guy I really, really like. Kapler, I knew it wasn't going to work. I knew that. But you do see today in all sports that they don't necessarily go with the recycle coaches. NFL has always been accused of doing that, right? The same old guys, and then of course the Rooney Rule and all that, because you're not going to hire somebody new blood. You're going to recycle these coaches. But Football is still a little bit, but basketball, NBA, college basketball, we're seeing guys that have either been longtime assistants or guys that have been in the G League or in college. Look at the coaches, guys without experience at all, like Penny Hardaway. Or giving Jerry Stackhouse with NBA coaching experience as an assistant a head coaching gig right off the bat. Or Juwan Howard. Again, Michigan goes from a John Beilein, this veteran, longtime head coach, to a guy who played the game and played well at every level and could be one of those guys who brings in the recruits. But we still don't know how much of an X's and O's guy Juwan Howard will be, or Stackhouse, or even, for that matter, Penny Hardaway with the 1 year under his belt. And then on the flip side, Cleveland decides to go after this veteran in Beilein who has no NBA background but has all this college background, thinking that that will equate to the older veteran professional players, but you know he can't coach the same way because it's not 18 and 19-year-old kids that he's coaching. So a lot of changes, I think, in basketball, maybe for the better, as opposed to just the recycled coaches that we see most of the time in the NFL, although the NFL recently has gone with some younger guys like McVay, like the guy in San Francisco, Shanahan, going with some of the younger coaches.
So on with Buck Showalter, because I've kind of long wondered about the fascination with Buck Showalter. Mm-hmm. I think 20 years as a manager, he's made it past the division series once. What's the fascination with Buck Showalter? Why does people think he's so great?
I don't know if they think he's great. I think they like him for.
Well, they keep hiring him.
I think they like the reasons I just said. I mean, you don't usually have a mutiny, and you also don't let players. And for owners, they like a manager who puts his foot down, and you don't let players walk all over them. And we're seeing players walk all over NBA people. We've seen that for years, but now in the NFL, like the Jalen Ramsey things. So I think owners like that that's the way he manages. Maybe we're getting away from it.
I mean, he only lasted more than 4 years in one place. Again, he's made it past the DS one time, and that was a loss. Never made it to a World Series. Like, what about his track record lets him keep getting jobs? I don't understand it.
Well, he took over in Baltimore in, what year is that, 10?
2010.
2010, took over in Baltimore. And then they start out in 5th place, and he moves them up 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 2nd. Okay?
And then 5th.
Yeah, 5th, because you know what they start to do? They start a fire sale in Baltimore. They get rid of the only players they have that have talent, and they decide that they're not going to spend money. That's what happened in Baltimore. I thought he did a really good job in Baltimore. They got rid of Britton. They got rid of a bunch of guys, and then it was eventually they were horrible.
That great thing got him to 1 ALCS.
I understand that, but you're also battling in that situation with the Yankees. And
well, he managed the Yankees and only got them to the division series as well. So, actually they didn't, because he didn't even coach that division series. He resigned before the end of that year. Yeah. So, I mean, it's...
Yeah, but, 2nd, 1st. I don't know I can't remember the situation. Early '90s Yankees. When did the father die? When did George die? And I don't know if there were any issues. I like Buck. I'm not saying he's the end all be all. Who would I rather have as for the Phillies? I'd rather have Joe Madden. I'd rather have Joe Girardi. I wouldn't want Mike Scioscia. I do not like Mike Scioscia.
Who would want a World Series champion? You could have Buck Showalter.
Yeah, but he has had a lot of failures for teams that should have been a lot better, a lot more talent than they had in Baltimore. I'm not saying he's the end all be all, but I think he's a very established, good baseball guy. Now, if you give me some other options of younger coaches that maybe you could sell me on, okay. But right now, I don't want this player's coach, this young guy. I don't want that. I want a guy who's a little bit of a veteran. In Showalter's case, a lot of veteran. But I mean,
Dusty Baker is way better than Buck Showalter track record wise.
Yeah, but it's been a while for Dusty. Showalter was managing 2 years ago. When's the last time Dusty managed?
Dusty just managed
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not saying
they're about the exact same time.
I'm not saying I'd be against it, but he's the guy.
I think you're on the wrong. I think you need to move on to the new era of baseball and not worry. These old time guys, I don't think are the answer at all.
Yeah, but it didn't work with Kapler. It did not work with Kapler. So you got to tell me who it is, and then I got to do my due diligence to kind of look into it a little bit before I decide what I look. What did I say?
2017, Dusty was the last year with the Nationals.
But come on. Do you give me credit that I said Kapler's the wrong guy? As soon as he was hired, I said that. Just like I was saying about Loxley. Loxley will be gone after next season. You take this stuff to the bank, man. When it's my teams, I know them pretty well.
Okay, well, good luck with Buck Showalter if that's your guy.
Well, I don't know if it will be.
If that's the guy you want, more power to you.
You know, I wouldn't be against taking another shot with Mickey Callaway.
I would rather have Mickey Callaway than Buck Showalter, that's for sure. East Coast Wings and Grill, folks. 60 different flavors of wings. That's what you can find there, all available in 7 different heat indexes, plus other great menu items like their burgers. It's juicy Angus burgers, flatbreads, great appetizers. That it's always fresh, never frozen food at East Coast Wings and Grill. Today being Wednesday, that means they've got live music tonight. They can do live music each and every Wednesday. Tuesday night is poker night. Also coming up at the end of this month, they're putting on a golf tournament to benefit Porter Leith. It's going to be on Halloween. It's going to be an 8 a.m. shotgun start over at Galloway Golf Course. They're going to have awards to follow at East Coast Wings with a full buffet and drinks served over there at East Coast Wings and Grill. So if you want to get involved with this 4-man scramble, their Halloween 4-man scramble tournament, again, it's at Galloway, and it's on Halloween morning, teeing off at 8 o'clock, and it's benefiting Porter Leith. They're going to have a breakfast and lunch served there, a mimosa and Bloody Mary bar as well. Contact the folks at East Coast Wings and Grill to get your team signed up. East Coast Wings and Grill, just off Highway 64 in Bartlett. It's right next to the Lowe's, basically between Lowe's and Walmart, just off Highway 64. 2946 Kate Hyde Boulevard is the actual address, but it's right there between Lowe's and Walmart in Bartlett. East Coast Wings and Grill.
We need to take a final timeout. We'll do so, come back and wrap it up with one final thing. Broadcasting live today from the Crown Plaza East Hotel and the AutoZone Liberty Bowl High School All-Star Football Game Coaches Luncheon. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat for Happy Hour. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Is imitation the sincerest form of flattery? Not when it comes to your car audio. Stereo One is the leader in car audio, remote start, security, and more for the past 30 years. Stereo One is proud to announce the grand opening of their new location, 1983 Covington Pike, across from the Honda dealership. To celebrate their new location, Stereo One has marked down their entire inventory. Remote start systems at $129 with free installation. Subwoofer base packages start at just $199. Window tints starting at $129. The entire inventory of radios and touchscreens with features like Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth, and backup cameras are marked to go. Check out Stereo One before you buy online. Their knowledge, friendly sales staff, and pro installation team will take care of you. Visit the Stereo One new location today, 1983 Covington Pike, across from Honda, or visit their mega store at Mendenhall and Winchester. Make sure you go to the originators and not the imitators. Stereo One is still the one for your auto accessories.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is, you're one step closer to becoming your parents. Soon you'll have a separate fridge in the basement, where extra groceries are exiled forever. Remember that frozen lasagna? Of course you don't. It's been down there since 2008. Good news is, it's easy to bundle home and auto through Progressive and save on your car insurance. Piece of cake. Behind the lasagna, it's very old. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Get your gun, Nellie, and saddle up Penelope. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 700 new Buicks and GMC trucks, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 500 in stock. Branch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone, and remember, you can bring your car to Sunrise Service no matter where you bought it. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help you put one of your brand on these little fillies. Free hot dogs and Cokes at the Chuck Wagon. Western Trading Days going on now at all 3 Sunrise locations. We make it fun to buy a car again.
In this corner is Bob the Beast of Bargrass, using Dayquil Severe to face off against his cold. Bob's cold was coming at him from all sides. Head, chest, right nostril, left nostril. Oh, Dayquil Severe! What a game changer! He's out of his bed sheets, wrecking his spreadsheets, bodies slamming his sales reports. With Dayquil Severe, Bob's cold is out cold.
Dayquil Severe, the daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, sore throat, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays presented by FedEx. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Silveroy.
Mics are hot.
Welcome back, everybody. Final few minutes here. Live today from the Crown Plaza East Hotel.
Bill is down there. You want to talk a little baseball? What's up, Bill?
Hey, Bill.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Yeah, I know Greg hates Gabe Kapler, and that's cool and everything. But, isn't there a common denominator between the overachieving Washington Nationals this year and the underachieving Philadelphia Phillies? Maybe Bryce Harper went from one team to the other.
Oh, yeah.
The Nationals didn't rely on one player this year. They played together. They fought through injuries, and they hung on, and then everybody got healthy at the end, and they just rolled through everybody. And they just played with that we're not relying on anybody. We're doing it. We're just going to grit and grind it out. Whereas the Phillies, it's like, well, if Bryce Harper ain't going to do it for us, then we're just not going to do it type of atmosphere. It's almost like it followed him from Washington to there. And, I think Leo DeRocher, Billy Martin, Gabe Kapler, whoever your manager is, you're just trying to get guys to go out there and play the best they can, fight through slumps, and just fight through everything. And, the Nationals did that. And the only thing that seemed different to me was without Bryce Harper on there, those guys just all pulled their own weight instead of relying on somebody else, it seemed like.
I think that's a good point. I still don't think it takes Kapler off the hook. I mean, they had an all-star in Real Muto who they picked up. Rhys Hoskins underperformed. Harper still put some good numbers up, but they didn't get the pitching performances they expected from Arrieta and some others. Nola was good. But I think his point's well taken about the Nationals. I think he's right on with what the Nationals did this year. So a lot of credit to Dave Martinez. That pitching staff, which was already good, all came together basically from May on. I don't know. The Kapler thing, I think it was just a miss in Philadelphia, but his point well taken about Bryce Harper and what the Nationals did without him.
It's always easy to say, well, he leaves, they win. Well, I mean, they were when they were 19 and 31 or whatever. People thought, well, why'd they let Bryce Harper go? I mean, they got a healthy year out of Steven Strasburg. They went and picked up Patrick Corbett. He was really good for them. Rendon had a fantastic year, and they rolled. Whether Bryce Harper was there, if Bryce Harper was there, they may have be in the same spot. We don't know. It's always easy when the guy leaves and then the team wins, but there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, look at some of the recent acquisitions the last couple of years. I mean, who expected Howie Kendrick to step up the way he did? Zimmerman's come back from an injury and looks like the Zimmerman of old. So it all worked out. It's a long baseball season, as everybody knows. So you can certainly turn things around. And that was a prime example.
And the thing with a manager in baseball, there's certainly strategical things that you got to do with the bullpen. But for the most part, every day you put together the same lineup. It's not like you're getting real creative with your lineup every single day. You pencil in the same guys, and you go out and you hope they hit that day, and the pitchers pitch well that day. Your starting rotation, and then there is some moves at the end of the game, especially in the National League, where it gets strategic. But man, there isn't a whole lot for that guy to do other than try and keep the guys motivated through a grind of a season to be able to go out there and play well.
Well, I didn't like the way Kapler used his bullpen. He probably relied a lot on analytics, I would think, as a young manager. But it just didn't work out. So we'll see if somebody else gives him an opportunity. I know the Cubs. I think the Cubs have interviewed him, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that's not going to turn out to be a job.
No, the only thing it would be is maybe something within the organization. They like what he did,
like a bench coach.
I think it's more player development. They like what he did with the Dodgers organization and player development, and when he was in their minor league system. There's some thought that they're just basically doing that to get some ideas from him on player development from the past. But I don't think there's any chance he is the manager, but maybe something on the staff at the major league level or in the minor leagues.
Once again, the Grizzlies on the road tonight. Preseason game number 4 of 5. They'll play at OKC. Brandon Clark, Jay Crowder, John Morant will be rested. Jonas Valanciunas, DeAnthony Melton are out with injuries. They'll play one more game in San Antonio Friday, and then they'll play for keeps next week. Wednesday at Miami is the season opener, and a week from Friday, the home opener against the Chicago Bulls. I want to thank everybody here at the Crowne Plaza East Hotel and everybody with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl for their help. And thanks to our great guests, Joe Theismann, Jerry Palm, Sigmund Bloom, the coaches Gene Robinson from Fairleigh High School and Preston Harris from Douglas High School. We're back in studio tomorrow. The Tiger Football Report, Mike Norvell will join us. We'll have Brandon Lang as well, so we hope you'll join us for that. But make sure to stay tuned. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour is coming up next. For Austin Eldridge and Eli Savoy, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.
All the whiskey in Lynchburg, Tennessee just couldn't hit the spot. I got $100